We have the also great personality, Dr. Mona Iyer, professional सेप्ट. थैंक यू सो मच मैम. और आप सभी का बहुत स्वागत बिहाफ महसाना म्यूनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन एंड बिहाफ GMC गांधीनगर. Thank you so much once again. Kindly your phone switch off, silent mode, या vibration mode. Thank you so much. We have the great feeling because we have the great personality, Dr. Partha Sarthi sir, former director, GITR. Huge round of applause. Thank you so much once again and warm welcome, sir. બસ થોડી ક્ષણોમાં આપણા સૌના રિસ્પેક્ટેડ ડિગ્નેટરીઝ ઉપસ્થિત થવાના છે. વાઇબ્રન્ટ ગુજરાત રિજિયોનલ કોન્ફરન્સ નોર્થ ઝોન, એની ટેગલાઇન છે ક્ષેત્રીય આકાંક્ષાઓ અને વૈશ્વિક મહત્વાકાંક્ષાઓ. આ સાથે જ ઉત્તર ગુજરાત એટલે પશુપાલન અને દૂધ ઉત્પાદનનું આ ક્ષેત્ર ગણવામાં આવે છે. અને આ ફિલ્ડમાં ઇન્વેસ્ટમેન્ટ જો બરાબર થાય તો ગુજરાતમાં નોર્થ ઝોનને એટલી મોટી આકાંક્ષાઓ અને મહત્વાકાંક્ષાઓ પ્રજાજનોમાં છે એ સંપૂર્ણપણે ફિલફુલ થાય એવી છે. રાજ્ય સરકારે ઇન્વેસ્ટમેન્ટનો મોટો ઉત્સવ આયોજિત કર્યો છે. આ 2 દિવસીય રિજનલ કોન્ફરન્સમાં મોટી સંખ્યામાં ઇન્વેસ્ટર્સ આવવાના છે, કારણ કે રાજ્ય સરકારે એમને ફેવરેબલ એન્વાયરમેન્ટ પ્રોવાઈડ કરેલું છે અને લોકલ રિસોર્સિસ પણ મોટા પ્રમાણમાં મળે તે માટે સુચારું આયોજન રાજ્ય સરકારે કરેલું છે. સાથે જ ઇઝીલી એમને કોઈ પણ હેલ્પની જરૂર લોકાલિટી પ્રમાણે જરૂર હોય એ પ્રમાણે રાજ્ય સરકારે ઝોન પ્રમાણે આ કોન્ફરન્સનું આયોજન કર્યું છે. અને આપણું સૌનું નેતૃત્વ એક વિઝનરી લીડરશિપ છે. ઓનરેબલ પ્રાઇમ મિનિસ્ટર શ્રી નરેન્દ્રભાઈ મોદી જેવા જે વિઝનરી લીડરશિપના કારણે આખો ભારત, ખાસ કરીને આખું ગુજરાત વાઇબ્રન્ટ બન્યું છે. અને એક ચોક્કસ કહી શકાય કે કરોડોની સંખ્યામાં ઇન્વેસ્ટરો ઇન્વેસ્ટ કરી રહ્યા છે. જુદા જુદા ફિલ્ડની અંદર, ચાહે એજ્યુકેશન હોય, પાણી પુરવઠા હોય, હેલ્થ ડિપાર્ટમેન્ટ હોય, ફાઇનાન્શિયલ ડિપાર્ટમેન્ટ હોય કે અનેક વિભાગોની અંદર ઇન્વેસ્ટમેન્ટ જોવા મળી રહ્યું છે. એટલે જ ગુજરાતને ઇન્વેસ્ટ હબ તરીકે આપણે બધા ઓળખીએ છીએ. અને આપણે બધા એકલા જ નહીં, પરંતુ આખા વિશ્વના તમામ ડેલિગેટ્સ અહીંયા આવ્યા છે એ ગુજરાત માટે સોનેરી તક જોવીને આવ્યા છે. એમના માટે સુચારું વાતાવરણ ક્રિએટ કરાયું છે, કારણ કે ફોરેન કંપનીઝ જે બિઝનેસ ટાઇકૂન છે એમને યોગ્ય વાતાવરણ જરૂરી હોય છે, લોકલ રિસોર્સિસની જરૂર હોય છે, લોકલ લેબરની જરૂર હોય છે. આ બધી જ પ્રસ્તાવનાઓ મળ્યા પછી કોઈ ઇન્વેસ્ટર પોતાનું ઇન્વેસ્ટ કરતો હોય છે. અને ગુજરાતમાં છેલ્લા ઘણા સમયથી ખૂબ મોટા પ્રમાણમાં ટુરિઝમ ક્ષેત્ર હોય, એજ્યુકેશનમાં હોય કે હેલ્થ ક્ષેત્રમાં હોય, ખૂબ મોટા પ્રમાણમાં ઇન્વેસ્ટ થયા છે. તમે જોઈ શકો છો કે ગુજરાતે છેલ્લા ઘણા વર્ષોમાં, હવે તો રાજ્ય સરકાર અને આપણે ખૂબ નસીબવંતા છીએ કે ઓનરેબલ પ્રાઇમ મિનિસ્ટર સરના પબ્લિક લાઈફની અંદર 24 વર્ષ ગુજરાતે વિકાસના જોયા છે. 7 ઓક્ટોબરથી 15 ઓક્ટોબર સુધી વિકાસ સપ્તાહની ઉજવણી, અને સાથે જ ઓનરેબલ પ્રાઇમ મિનિસ્ટર જ્યારે તત્કાલીન મુખ્યમંત્રી હતા ત્યારે એમનો પહેલું ઓથ જ્યારે જાહેર જીવનમાં લીધા ત્યારે 2001થી લઈને આજ દિન સુધી 24 વર્ષ થયા. અને એ 24 વર્ષ પરિવર્તનના હતા, એ 24 વર્ષ વિકાસની રાજનીતિના હતા, એ 24 વર્ષ વિકાસ માટેના હતા, એ 24 વર્ષ ગુજરાતને અડીખમ બનાવવાના હતા, એ 24 વર્ષ તમારા ને મારા હૈયે હાથ મૂકીને સેવા માટેના હતા, એ 24 વર્ષ સેવા પરમ ધર્મ એ ટેગલાઇન સાથે જીવન જીવવાના હતા, એ 24 વર્ષ વાઇબ્રન્ટ ગુજરાતનું મજબૂત પ્લેટફોર્મ બનાવવાના હતા, એ 24 વર્ષ બાળકોના ઉજળા ભવિષ્યને નક્કી કરવાના હતા, એ 24 વર્ષ ગુજરાતના પાયામાં જે મીઠા ફળના બીજ રોપ્યા, આજે એના છાંયડામાં આપણે બધા બેઠા છીએ. આપ સૌનું ખૂબ સ્વાગત બિહાફ ધ એમએમસી અને જીએમસી તરફથી હું કરું છું. થેન્ક યુ સો મચ વન્સ અગેન. આપ બધાનું ખૂબ સ્વાગત કરીએ છીએ વાઇબ્રન્ટ ગુજરાત રિજિયોનલ કોન્ફરન્સ. ઓનરેબલ કમિશનર ગાંધીનગર મહાનગર શ્રી જીએન વાઘેલા સર, વી વેલકમ સર. ખૂબ વાતો કરવાની છે, પરંતુ આપણા સૌના રિસ્પેક્ટેડ ડિગ્નેટરીઝ એક પછી એક આવે, પછી ઓન ધ ડાયસ અને ઓફ ધ ડાયસ આપ બધાનું સ્વાગત કરવાનું છે. થેન્ક યુ સો મચ વન્સ अगेन. भारत जो विश्व की सबसे बड़ी अर्थव्यवस्था है, Thank you. I again also warm welcome all of you. भारत जो विश्व की सबसे बड़ी अर्थव्यवस्था है, भारत जो दुनिया के देशों को अपॉर्चुनिटी देती है, भारत सबसे विराट लोकतंत्र है और लोकतंत्र में यूथ को प्रायोरिटी दी जाती है और मोस्ट ऑफ 90% प्लस आप सब यूथ में हो। भारत विराट लोकतंत्र है और अपॉर्चुनिटी आप सभी को प्रेजेंट करता है। हमारी सुप्रीम लीडरशिप है वो विजनरी है और नरेंद्र भाई के नेतृत्व में आज पूरा भारत उनके नेतृत्व में जैसे कई माइलस्टोन स्वच्छ भारत मिशन से लेके विकसित भारत 2047, स्वदेश हर घर स्वदेशी, घर घर स्वदेशी जैसे कई टैगलाइन के साथ आज पूरा भारत एक हुआ है। जैसे हम स्वाधीनता के समय में नए भारत की कल्पना पूज्य बापू करते थे, वही नए भारत का स्वप्न आज प्रधानमंत्री बापू के नक्शे कदम पर चलते हैं और उन्होंने बताया है नए भारत का निर्माण कैसे हो। तो नए भारत को बिल्ड करना हो तो स्वदेशी अपनाइए, हर घर 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 स्वदेशी हो। यही टैगलाइन हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी ने पूरे भारत को दी है और उसी नक्शे कदम पर हम सब चलते हैं। बस कुछ ही देर में हमारे सभी मेहमान आने वाले हैं, मुख्य अतिथि भी आने वाले हैं और आज रीजियोनल कॉन्फ्रेंस का विधिवत शुभारंभ होने जाना है। हमारे सेमिनार के प्रेजेंटेटर महानुभाव डॉक्टर पार्थ सारथी सर आप पधार चुके हैं, आपका स्वागत फिर से करता हूं। डॉक्टर योगेश जाडेजा फाउंडर एसीटी, आपका भी स्वागत। डॉक्टर मोना अय्यर प्रोफेसर सेप्ट यूनिवर्सिटी हमारे बीच पधारे और हमारे बीच ऑनरेबल कमिश्नर गांधीनगर म्युनिसिपल कॉरपोरेशन श्री जीएन वाघेला सर आईएएस हमारे बीच पधार चुके हैं। आइए फिर से तालियों की गूंज के साथ उनका स्वागत करते हैं। मैं हमारा कहूं ने कि उत्तर गुजरात ए दूध क्षेत्रमा અને પશુપાલન ક્ષેત્રમાં આખા વિશ્વનું ધ્યાન આકર્ષિત કરે છે। ત્યાં મોટા પ્રમાણમાં દૂધ ઉત્પાદન થાય છે। પશુપાલન ક્ષેત્રે નાનો ખેડૂત હોય કે મોટો ખેડૂત હોય, પશુપાલન ક્ષેત્રે પોતાનું જીવન આપે છે। આખા વિશ્વનું ધ્યાન ઉત્તર ગુજરાતમાં એટલા માટે છે કે ડેરી પ્રોડક્ટ એન્ડ પશુપાલન આ બે મુખ્ય વ્યવસાયમાં એક એગ્રો અને ફૂડ ટેક બિઝનેસને પ્રાધાન્ય પ્રાયોરિટી આપવા માટે રાજ્ય સરકારે આ ઉત્તર ઝોનને ખૂબ મહત્વ આપ્યું છે। તમે બધા ઉત્તર ઝોનથી આવો છો, તમને બધાને ખબર છે અહીંયા ડેરી પ્રોડક્ટ અને પશુપાલન ખૂબ મોટા પ્રમાણમાં વિશાળ પ્રમાણમાં આપણને જોવા મળે છે અને તેના થકી જ ઉત્તર ગુજરાત જે વર્ષો પહેલાની ગતિવિધિમાં જીવન જીવતું હતું એના કરતાં 3 ગણું અત્યારે બેટર ફીલ કરે છે। એના પાછળ આવા ઇન્વેસ્ટર આવે, પોતાનું ઇન્વેસ્ટ કરે અને ફૂડ સેક્ટરની અંદર કે મિલ્ક સેક્ટરની અંદર અથવા મિલ્ક પ્રોડક્ટની અંદર પોતાના બિઝનેસની શરૂઆત કરે। એન્ટરપ્રેન્યોર કોઈ વ્યક્તિગત સાહસ કરવા માંગતું હોય એને પણ યોગ્ય એન્વાયરમેન્ટ મળે એ માટેનું પ્લેટફોર્મ રાજ્ય સરકાર ક્લીન કરેલું છે। ત્યારે અપેક્ષા રાખીએ છીએ કે આ રિજિયોનલ કોન્ફરન્સમાંથી કહેવાય ને આપણે મહાભારતથી લઈને આપણા કથાઓની અંદર અમૃતનું બહાર નીકળેલું અને એ મંથનના અંતે આપણા સૌના ડિગ્નેટરીઝ આપણને પેનલ ડિસ્કશન માટે પણ જોડાવાના છે અને એ પેનલ ડિસ્કશનમાંથી આપણને બધાને કંઈક અમૃત મળે અને એ અમૃત નોર્થ ઝોનને કેટલું ફાયદાકારક છે અને કેટલું પ્રોફિટ આપવાનું છે એ બધા સિનિયર મોસ્ટ જે રિટાયર્ડ છે અને એની સર્વિસ ચાલુ છે એ બધા પોતાના એક્સપિરિયન્સ શેર કરવાના છે, ડિસ્કશન કરવાના છે, પોતાના ફિલ્ડમાં એક્સપિરિયન્સ આપેલા છે, પોતાનું જીવન એમના ફિલ્ડ તરફ આપેલું છે એ બધા જ એક્સપિરિયન્સ આપણને શેર કરે અને શેરના અંતે આપણને જે પણ મંથનમાંથી અમૃત નીકળે કદાચ આશા રાખીએ ગુજરાતના ભવિષ્યને આ મંથન ખૂબ ઉપયોગી નીવડે। થેન્ક યુ સો મચ વન્સ અગેન। આશા રાખીએ છીએ અને અપેક્ષા પણ રાખીએ છીએ કે જ્યારે પેનલ ડિસ્કશન પૂર્ણ થાય પછી તમને બધાને ક્વેશ્ચન આન્સર અને એક ટાઈમ લિમિટ આપેલી છે, એનું સેશન રાખેલું છે. તો આઈ હોપ કે બધા જ જે ટોપિક ઉપર ચર્ચા થાય, ડિસ્કશન થાય, એના જે પણ પ્રશ્નો તમને મૂંઝવતા પ્રશ્નો હોય, તમે જે ફિલ્ડમાં કામ કરો છો એ ફિલ્ડના કોઈ પ્રશ્નો હોય તો રેઝ યોર હેન્ડ આફ્ટર પેનલ ડિસ્કશન. તમને બધાને સમય આપવાનો છે અને આપણા સૌના જે ડિસ્કશન મોડરેટર એન્ડ ઓલ પેનલિસ્ટ આપણને બધાને પ્રશ્નોના જવાબ આપવાના છે. તો એનું સેશન પણ રાખેલું છે, તો બધાએ ડિસ્કશનને સાંભળો. એમાં કોઈ પ્રશ્ન હોય તો નોટ ડાઉન કરો અને પછી એનું સેશન આવે ત્યારે રેઝ યોર હેન્ડ અને પછી તમે આસ્ક ક્વેશ્ચન. સો તમને બધાને એ પ્રશ્નનો ઉત્તર પણ મળે, તમે જે ફિલ્ડમાં કામ કરો છો એ જવાબ કદાચ તમારા કામમાં આવે એવી અપેક્ષા સાથે. સમય થઈ ગયો છે, બસ થોડી ક્ષણોની અંદર આપણી વચ્ચે થોડી ક્ષણોની અંદર શ્રી એમ તેનારસમ, આઈએએસ, પ્રિન્સિપલ સેક્રેટરી, અર્બન ડેવલપમેન્ટ ડિપાર્ટમેન્ટ, ગવર્મેન્ટ ઓફ ગુજરાત. શ્રી રેમ્યા મોહન, આઈએએસ, કમિશનર ઓફ મ્યુનિસિપાલિટી, એડમિન ડિપાર્ટમેન્ટ. શ્રી જીએન વાઘેલા, આઈએએસ, મ્યુનિસિપલ કમિશનર, જીએમસી. અને ઓફકોર્સ આપણી સાથે ડૉક્ટર પાર્થ સારથી સર તો આવી જ ગયા છે, ડૉક્ટર યોગેશ જાડેજા સર પણ આવી ગયા છે અને ડૉક્ટર મોના અય્યર મેમ પણ આવી ગયા છે. બસ વેઇટિંગ ટુ બે જ મહેમાનોની રાહ જોઈએ છીએ, પછી સેમિનારની શરૂઆત આપણે કરીએ છીએ. હવે કોઈએ પોતાની જગ્યા ન છોડવી. આપનો ફોન સ્વિચ ઓફ, સાયલેન્ટ મોડ યા વાઇબ્રેશન મોડ ઉપર રાખવા સૌને વિનંતી છે. મેં બે સેક્ટરની વાત કરી છે કે મિલ્ક પ્રોડક્શન અને એક પશુપાલન. એ સિવાય પણ ઉત્તર ગુજરાતની અંદર જે ડેઝર્ટ છે, આપણું રણ વિસ્તાર છે, જ્યાં લીલોતરીનું પ્રમાણ ઓછું છે, ત્યાં રિન્યુએબલ એનર્જી માટેના સેક્ટરને પણ ઓપન કરવા માટે રાજ્ય સરકારે આ ખુલ્લી તક આપેલી છે. કારણ કે એવું નોર્થ ઝોનની અંદર લગભગ મોટા ભાગનો વિસ્તાર રણ વિસ્તાર, સૂકો પ્રદેશ કહીએ, અને ત્યાં આગળ રિન્યુએબલ એનર્જી પણ આપણને મળે તે માટે વ્યવસ્થા કરેલી છે. તો ત્રીજું એક સેક્ટર આ પણ આપણા માટે ખૂબ ઉપયોગી છે. થર્ડ વન ટુરિઝમ, અને હવે તો આખું ગુજરાત ટુરિઝમ માટે પ્રખ્યાત બન્યું છે. ગુજરાતનો પ્રત્યેક છેડો ટુરિઝમને પ્રાધાન્ય આપતો રહ્યો છે. ચાહે તમારા નોર્થ ઝોનમાં વડનગર હોય છે, નડાબેટથી લઈને કચ્છ વિસ્તારથી લઈને પાટણ પણ ઓફકોર્સ આપણું હેરિટેજ સિટી તરીકે આપણે બધા ટુરિઝમને પ્રાધાન્ય આપી રહ્યા છે. તો હવે ટુરિઝમમાં પ્રચાર પ્રસાર કરવાની જરૂર રહેતી નથી. ગુજરાતે તો મોટો પ્રચાર કર્યો છે, કુછ દિન તો ગુજારો ગુજરાત મેં. એના થકી જ ગુજરાત આજે તમામ ઝોનની અંદર ટુરિઝમ મોટા પ્રમાણમાં, દીપાવલીનો તહેવાર હોય કે વિન્ટર સિઝન હોય, રણોત્સવ જેવો હોય કે સમર સિઝન હોય, આ બધામાં ગુજરાત ટુરિઝમ ક્ષેત્રે હવે ભારતમાં મોખરેનું સ્થાન રહ્યું છે. એટલે આ એક સેક્ટર ટુરિઝમ માટે પણ બેસ્ટ આપણા માટે છે. રિન્યુએબલ એનર્જીની વાત કરી અને ફાર્માસ્યુટિકલ માટે પણ we have also respected Municipal Commissioner Sir Mehsana. શ્રી રવિન્દ્ર સર આપણી વચ્ચે પધાર્યા છે. वी वेलकम सर. यूज राउंड अप्लोज सर માટે खूब तालियों के साथ उनका स्वागत करते हैं. मैं कहूँ ने कि एग्रो और फूड टेक्नोलॉजी आ टेक क्षेत्रे नॉर्थ जोन ने खूब प्राधान्य आपવું જરૂરી છે અને માત્ર મિલ્ક પ્રોડક્શન નહીં પરંતુ પશુપાલન જ નહીં પરંતુ ફાર્માસ્યુટિકલ રિન્યુએબલ એનર્જી અને મેં ટુરિઝમની પણ વાત કરી છે. આવા 5-6 ક્ષેત્રની અંદર નોર્થ ઝોનની અંદર ખૂબ મોટા પ્રમાણમાં ઇન્વેસ્ટરો ઇન્ટરેસ્ટ દાખવી રહ્યા છે. એના કારણે મોટા પ્રમાણમાં ઇન્વેસ્ટ આપવાનું છે અને આ નોર્થ ઝોનનું રિજિયોનલ કોન્ફરન્સનું જે મંથન થાય એ મંથનમાં અવશ્ય આપણને કંઈક અમૃત મળે જેના થકી ગુજરાતને લાભ મળવાનો છે પરંતુ મોટો લાભ નોર્થ ઝોનને મળે એ માટે અપેક્ષિત છે. તો આ બધાનું ફરીથી સ્વાગત બિહાફ જીએમસી અને એમએમસી સ્વાગત કરે છે અને થોડી ક્ષણોની અંદર આપણા સૌના મુખ્ય અતિથિ શ્રી એમ થેન્નારસમ સાહેબ આપણે વચ્ચે ઉપસ્થિત થવાના છે અને પછી આ સેમિનારની વિધિવત રીતે શરૂઆત આપણે કરવા જઈ રહ્યા છીએ. થેન્ક યુ સો મચ વન્સ અગેન. Thank you so much, sir. So, start our session. Thank you so much once again. I would like to invite on a stage, first of all, Sri G.N. Wagila, sir. Please welcome on stage. Sri Ravindra, sir. Please, Honorable Commissioner, MMC. Can we use round of applause? Thank you. I request Dr. Parth Sarthi, sir. Please come on stage. Dr. Yogesh Jadeja, sir, founder ACT, please come forward. And Dr. Mona Ayer, professional SEFT University. Please welcome, sir. तो आइए वाइब्रेंट गुजरात रीजनल कॉन्फ्रेंस नॉर्थ जोन की आज विधिवत शुभारंभ करने जा रहे हैं. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, as we begin, let us involve the light of wisdom, peace and prosperity. We invite our dignitaries to the kind come forward to the traditional lamp lighting ceremony. आप आगे आइए और दीप जला के कार्यक्रम की शुरुआत करवाइए. बहुत तालियों के साथ આ દીપક તમારા અને મારા જીવનને અજવાસ આપનારો છે. ખૂબ તાળીઓની ગુંજ આપણે બધા વ્યક્ત કરીએ છીએ. ऑनरेबल आरसीएम सर गांधीनगर, बीएम पटेल सर हमारे बीच पधार चुके हैं. उनका बहुत स्वागत हम करते हैं. તાળીઓમાં કચાશ ના રહી જાય અને આપણે સૌ તકેદારી રાખીએ. थैंक यू वंस अगेन. प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र भाई मोदी जी जो हमारी सुप्रीम लीडरशिप है, सुप्रीम ही और विजनरी लीडरशिप पूरे विश्व को प्रभावित करती है. वाइब्रेंट गुजरात ने गुजरात को इन्वेस्ट हब बना दिया है. देश विदेश के कई जाने माने इन्वेस्टर आज भारत को पसंद करते हैं, खासकर गुजरात में ज्यादा पसंदगी करते हैं. आइए इस रीजनल कॉन्फ्रेंस की हम शुरुआत करते हैं. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आई इनवाइट ऑनरेबल कमिश्नर महसाना म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन रविंद्र सर आईएएस, आपका बहुत स्वागत करते हैं आपका वेलकम एड्रेस के लिए. आइए तालियों की गूंज के साथ अनुरोध करते हैं.
On behalf of Urban Development Department, Gujarat, Government of Gujarat, Mehsana Municipal Corporation. I welcome our dignitaries on the stage. First of all, my guide, my mentor, Municipal Commissioner Gandhinagar, Waghela Sahib. Whatever we are doing in Mehsana, we are just replicating whatever he has suggested and the ideas that he is implementing in Gandhinagar and his earlier experiences from Surat and Ahmedabad. We also have with us Dr. Partha Sarthi Rangarajan. Sir is a former director of Gujarat Institute of Developmental Research, which is a pioneer organization in different fields of developmental works. Then we also have with us Dr. Yogesh Jadeja, who is founder of ACT, which is basically Arid Communities Technologies Development. And we have recently met at Mehsana also. They are going to do one MOU with us today. And I also like to welcome Dr. Mona Iyer ma'am, who is a professor from CEPT University, and she has done works with different organizations, has worked with different multilateral agencies. So along with that, we also have Patel Saab with us. He is Regional Commissioner Municipalities Gandhinagar, and all the dignitaries present from different corporations, different Nagar Palikas of Gujarat, and different stakeholders associated with urban development, urban planning. So the purpose of this regional conference is very clear, that Gujarat has been doing vibrant summits since long. But there was a thought that we should also take these conferences to regional places, so that there are regional aspirations, like we have a tagline, regional aspirations and global ambitions. So these corporations, these areas also have global ambitions. Like in Mehsana, we are also following the best practices that are happening elsewhere in the world. We are making iconic roads, but the concepts of those roads, they are basically coming from many European countries. Whenever we visit, जब हम लोग यूरोप जाते, જ્યારે જ્યારે આપણે બહાર જઈએ ફરવા, ત્યારે આપણને લાગે કે આ સિટીઝમાં આપણને ચાલવાની મજા કેમ આવે છે. People walk there, they have those kind of plazas. So we are taking ideas from those places. So our ambition should also be like that. Then in our corporations, we are doing so many different initiatives, pedestrian friendly cities, then non-motorized transports, how we can make our cities water sustainable, water sufficient. So these are all basically things जिसके ऊपर हमें आपको सबको काम करना है. And for that, these kind of conferences जो होती है, उसमें we get all these experts. They bring their expertise, their ideas, and they also give us some actionable inputs कि आप ये सब चीज़ें एक A, B, C करोगे, so you will get these kind of results. So I again welcome all of you to this session, and I am looking forward to a very fruitful, engaging session. और उसमें हम we also kept a panel discussion followed by question and answers. तो તમારા જે કાંઈ પ્રશ્નો હોય, whatever questions you have, તમે write down કરીને રાખો. We'll have a question and answer session as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Honorable Commissioner, MMC. Next, we proceed to felicitation on our distinguished guest. This is the token of our gratitude for their visionary leadership in the advancing Vibrant Gujarat Regional Conference. First, I will request Honorable Ravindra Khatle, sir, IAS Commissioner. First of all, welcome and felicitate Honorable Commissioner G.M. Waghela, sir, with the floral bouquet. I will request A.B. Mandori, Deputy MMC, please kind forward and welcome to Honorable Ravindra sir, Honorable Commissioner sir, with the floral bouquet. I request Sri Chaudhary sir, Deputy Municipal Commissioner, please come forward and felicitate Dr. Parth Sarthi sir, former director, GIDR. I request Darshan C. Chawda, Deputy Municipal Commissioner, MMC, please welcome BM Patel, RCM Gandhinagar. I will request Mr. Jatin Patel, engineer, please come forward and welcome and felicitate Dr. Yogesh Jadeja. And last but not least, Mr. Mitesh Patel, come forward and felicitate to Dr. Mona Iyer, Professor SEFT. धन्यवाद। और सभी मंचासीन महानुभावों से विनती करता हूं, आइए सेमिनार प्रेजेंटेशन की शुरुआत करते हैं। आप अपनी जगह मंच के सामने सभी गणमान्य महानुभावों को आइए तालियों की गूंज के साथ अनुरोध करते हैं। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आई रिक्वेस्ट डॉक्टर पार्थ सारथी रंगनाजन सर, फॉर्मर डायरेक्टर GIDR, आपका प्रेजेंटेशन आज के अवसर पर शुरू कीजिए। धन्यवाद सर।
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to the government of Gujarat, to Mr. Waghela, who contacted me and invited. It's really a great pleasure to be here, and I really look forward to having meaningful discussion. I'm not going to do only a monologue, but let's have some discussion. I'll raise a few points today. This is the topic given was the catalyzing regional development. It falls very much within the purview of the recent working group that we had constituted by MOHUA, that's on the transition areas. We just submitted the report, so I'm going to rely largely on that. So let's see how we go forward in this. To set the stage, it is important that we have some basics about Gujarat. If you look at it, still we have about the working population ratio, if you see, it is very high for males, but the females, it is only 40% as yet. I'm sure it is going to increase, and therefore we need to be prepared for more of people coming into the workforce. The second is in agriculture. This is very interesting. Almost 81% of the female workers are engaged in agriculture, and the male is only 34. This is a very interesting but very important to understand this, because there is a lot of discussion about feminization of workforce in developed states like Gujarat. Now this is both a good tiding as well as it is not very, very welcome in many aspects. So we should see how far we can make provisions to absorb them or diversify their economic activity into non-farm employment also. That is the purpose of this showing here. What is important in this is almost 50% of our youth are still in the rural areas in Gujarat. It's about 47.4% in 2018, the sample registration survey. But if you see the urban workers, almost 76% are in services and informal sector, most of them. It is also important to note that when we have so many people in agriculture, the agricultural production productivity is quite mixed bag in Gujarat. If you see BT cotton, if you see many of those cash crops, the production productivity is very high. If you see wheat, rice, then the production productivity is it is below the national average. So therefore, we have a mixed bag. What it shows is, being a positivist I am, it shows there is an opportunity to develop. It doesn't tell badly about us. It shows that there are areas where we can still invest and still have laborers productively employed. So low production and productivity can be an opportunity. That's how we'll have to see it. That's how we saw it. Because when we saw the groundnut production productivity being low in Saurashtra, what we did was we transformed into castor, and from castor we moved on to other crops, BT cotton especially. So I think the entrepreneurial spirit as well as the government's help has really catapulted the agriculture in different levels continuously. And therefore, I will not be surprised, or nobody should be surprised, if we have another revolution without calling it as a revolution. But it is must, and therefore we need to keep all eyes open. So which also means that we need to have more mechanization these days, because the generation change has come. The old style plowing, old style farming is not going to happen. So there was a time when we talked about mechanization replacing labor, but today is a time when mechanization will complement labor. So therefore, it is very important. So that also will definitely bring about improved levels of inputs and uses of other inputs as well. What are the government initiatives? There are a lot of initiatives that had been taken up, both by the center and the state. If you look at it, it follows what we are just now discussing. Only for agricultural mechanization from 2014 onwards till 22, there is so much of allocation that has been made. And there is also subsidy directly given for machines. And what is very important is the custom hiring centers. Even in Gujarat, we are doing it very well. Now, this is like, to make it very simple, it is like your Uber technology. If I am going to use and say that 10 farmers like me, if we join together and say that for plowing, I need from this time to this time, then the tractor guy comes, does the plowing and goes. Harvest combines come, does it and go. So I am mechanizing the farm, which also releases the extra labor that is being there. So we can observe somewhere else. Similarly, the high-tech hubs and so on and so forth, and Gati Shakti. It is not yet with the state government, but very soon it would come. And at least for major projects, so I was just now talking about roads and other infrastructure. At least for those, I think if we tag it with the Gati Shakti, it does minimum of wastage but maximize the efficiency. So these are the initiatives that we are having. Why are we having it? We are having it I'm talking only about Gujarat here now. We are having it because the rural-urban divide is blurring. It used to be the case in Kerala, but now in Gujarat you can see it. In 2011 census, almost 89 areas were marked as transitional areas. As we speak today, almost all of them, majority of them, have become a good municipal town, and some of them are municipal corporations. We are standing in one of them like that. So the transitional areas has become very, very important because it is very important that we plan it. As of now, we don't have a planning mechanism for the transitional areas. We have for urban planning a master plan technique. Rural is completely different. But the transitional areas, I'll show it in next few minutes. I'll not take much of your time. It becomes very important. It also becomes important because if you see the gross value added in the state, much of it is coming from industry and services. Agriculture is very, very low. Now you tie it very clearly. The population dependence is much higher. The youth is also there, but the gross value addition is low and the production productivity is somewhat low. So where is the thrust? The thrust is in industry and in services. How do we go about it? Obviously the cities are the ones which are contributing a lot. Beyond cities, beyond the transitional areas, there are a lot of transport hubs you will see it. Even if you're going to Kutch, if you start from Bachau, there are a lot of transport hubs. Those mimic a city or an urban center, but they are not urban center. Similarly, you will see many urban-like economic and employment characteristics in Gujarat specifically. It enables flow of individuals. There are a lot of people who come, maybe floating population. There are a lot of services, and there's a lot of information network. There's a geo shop, there is something there, some repair shop. But these are not full-fledged services as yet. So how do we foster infrastructure development in these areas? If you concentrate on that, I think with a vibrant Gujarat sort of conference that we are having, that would be the very apt place for us to go forward from not just rural, not just urban, but identifying the transitional areas and going about it. This also facilitates both brown and green development possibilities. So it has all the, we are not talking about Pura sort of thing. What we are talking is the examples, if you see the Dholera special region. In one stroke, we have the road network there. There is also an airport that's going to come up. You can see the land prices and other things going up there. And there are a lot of activities which are like urban. The moment it is fully transformational, you would see something else. If you take another infrastructure development, you have the Sauni. The Sauni Yojana, there were times when I used to go to Gondal, when I used to go to Rajkot and find water as the impediment. Today, after Sauni Yojana, you could see again the hub, which was Rajkot for machine and tools. It has again kick-started very, very much. And therefore, on the one hand, if you see a land sort of development in Dholera DMIC, you can also see something else happening in Sauni. So these are two different examples, but examples of intervention in areas which are not urban nor rural, but we are able to transform. So I think taking a lesson from this, towards Viksit Bharat, we thought that it will be useful that when we are concentrating on such areas, there is one thing which I would really flag, that is without losing the rural characteristics. If we can transform these areas, it would be much better. The one example we can take is Vadodara. Vadodara, many of the areas which have become Vadodara city, you will see the canals passing by in between, but the canal is nothing but a gutter. Only if you are able to use that as a canal and have some greenery around it, you don't need to have a riverfront or a lakefront inside. So instead of superimposing it, we can retain that and develop it right from the beginning. Instead of first closing it and then start doing it, I think some of these things are very easy, and many of these depend on the planning. So I'm sure we will be able to plan. So my urge and my request to all of you is, whichever city you go to work, I think it will be good to find out how do you have the peri-urban areas, not just peri-urban, I would call it as transitional areas. What is the difference? 1 minute I'll take on this. A peri-urban area is a 360 degrees, almost on all sides of the city that we talk. But a transitional area is not that. If you take Ahmedabad, probably Sanand is a transitional area. Towards Mehsana is a transitional. But towards Nadia, it is not. I mean, it has not developed that way. So a transitional area should give you a promise that tomorrow it can become an urban area and a vibrant urban area where you have certain facilities to put industry or services. Not all sides of a city can become. That is why it is different from peri-urban, and that is why we are not talking about Pura. We are talking about transitional areas capable of transitioning. That's the message. So if you are able to do it without losing the characteristics of rural areas, if only we make them, it would be very, very useful. How is it useful? It would be very useful in the following manner. See, for like right now I was talking about Uber sort of services for the hubs that we are talking. for rural mechanization. The transitional area is the one which can provide that, provide the hub and basis even for drones or anything that we try to use. So therefore, it need not be in the city, it need not be in the rural areas, but it will be very easy for us to provide or provision infrastructure like internet services or electricity or water. So if we concentrate on some of these transitional areas, you don't have the trouble of doing as an urban area, worried about compacting or sprawls or anything. And it is not like a rural area, but this can really transfer the technology and technique from urban areas to rural as well. So the transitional areas, each city should identify and should be part of the planning. So it's a ripple effect that we are talking about. Where do we find funds? If you see the union budget this year, there is challenge fund that has been provided. This could be utilized and this could be dovetailed to help grow transitional areas as a medium of development between the two extremes that we talk. So what are the growth engines? Obviously, in many places we say that if the workforce is less than 10% in agriculture, we will call it as Viksit or developed areas. We still are talking about 40–80%. So there is a need, and transitional areas can provide that kind of growth spurt. Because to do it in city, it becomes difficult. You can't transport women, children, everybody, everywhere. So to be where they are and to work in non-farm employment, I think this would be very, very useful. And we have the example in Gujarat. The Golden Corridor was the oldest, from Valsad, Vapi till Ahmedabad. Then you have Ahmedabad, Rajkot, Mehsana. We have developed so many corridors. But what we have not done is, when we had the Golden Corridor, we used to call it as Purvi Patti. The eastern side we've left. So slowly and steadily we are developing, but if we consciously find out what are the transitional areas and start developing it, it might become very, very useful. That probably is the way forward. So it is, these are the pointers that we talk, that large transitional areas, if we have, the development would be very, very fast. So I'll stop here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. We hope the very impactful this presentation. Thank you so much once again. Use a round of applause for this presentation. Now request Dr. Yogesh Jadeja, founder ACT, for the presentation, sir.
सबसे पहले मैं धन्यवाद करना चाहूँगा एमएमसी जीएमसी दोनों का कि रिसेंटली दोनों कॉरपोरेशन के साथ हमारी कुछ मीटिंग्स वगैरह हुए थे और उन्होंने पकड़ के यहाँ पे लाए। एक्चुअली मेरा जो कोर कॉम्पिटेंस है वो ग्राउंड वाटर मैनेजमेंट का है, और ग्राउंड वाटर मैनेजमेंट की जब बात करते हैं तो पूरे वर्ल्ड में, सिर्फ भारत में या गुजरात में नहीं, लेकिन मेहसाना और नॉर्थ गुजरात को ऐसे हॉटस्पॉट की तरह देखा जाता है कि ग्राउंड वाटर का डिप्लीशन अगर सबसे ज़्यादा कहीं पे हुआ है तो भारत में, और भारत में भी नॉर्थ गुजरात में हुआ है कि मतलब 40-50 फीट से हम 1200-1300, कोई कोई जगह पे 2000 फीट तक भी नीचे चले गए हैं। तो कहीं ये पूरी जर्नी में, हमारा डेवलपमेंट की जर्नी में 2-3 चीज़ें छुपी हुई है, जिसमें पार्था सर ने बहुत अच्छा ट्रांजिशन के बारे में बात किया। मैं भी कुछ उसी डायरेक्शन में एक बात करके मेरा प्रयास करूंगा कि किस तरीके से नॉर्थ गुजरात डेवलप हुआ। एक पावरफुल मैसेज नॉर्थ गुजरात ने डेवलपमेंट का दिया है, बट ये मैसेज को सस्टेन करना है तो हमें हमारे नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज को भी सस्टेन करने की ज़रूरत पड़ेगी, अलॉन्ग विथ लोकल एंड डिस्टेंस दोनों को कॉम्बिनेशन में रखते हुए। मैं स्किप करूँगा इस स्लाइड को। ग्राउंड वाटर के ऊपर हमारी डिपेंडेंसी जो है पूरे भारत की देखा जाए तो लगभग 60 to 70% इरीगेशन ग्राउंड वाटर से आता है। अर्बन एरिया में वाटर सप्लाई 50% से ज़्यादा है और रूरल का आज भी 80 से 90% जो पानी है वो ग्राउंड वाटर से जाता है। तो ये अपने आप में एक चीज़ दिखाता है और इसके पीछे की वजह ये भी है कि रिलेटिवली ग्राउंड वाटर एक रिलायबल और डिसेंट्रलाइज सोर्स रहा है। मतलब जहाँ पे हम सेंट्रलाइज पाइपलाइन नहीं पहुँचा पाते थे वहाँ पे ग्राउंड वाटर को एक्सप्लोर करके वहाँ हम सप्लाई इंश्योर कर सकते हैं। तो ये एक उनका एक कैरेक्टर है। इसके चलते हुए हमने हर बार ग्राउंड वाटर को बैकयार्ड में रख के डेवलपमेंट को आगे किया है। नॉर्थ गुजरात पर्टिकुलर की अगर हम बात करें तो गुजरात को वैसे नॉर्थ साउथ कच्छ एंड सौराष्ट्र 4 रीजन में डिवाइड कर देते हैं। हमने थोड़ा उसको उसके जोग्राफिकल एंड जियोलॉजिकल कैरेक्टर को ध्यान में रखते हुए थोड़ा सोचने का प्रयास किया कि वह नॉर्थ गुजरात को क्यों फोकस करने की ज़रूरत है। जब कभी कभी क्या होता है रीजनल स्केल पे बात करते हैं तो कुछ चीज़ें ऑटोमेटिकली पीछे चली जाती है और हमें उसके ऊपर दृष्टि नहीं जाती है। तो जैसे एलुवियल प्लेन की बात करें हम तो गुजरात का ज्योग्राफी में एलुवियल प्लेन एक ही मान लेते थे। हमने ये प्रयास किया कि हर एक एलुवियल प्लेन का कैरेक्टर अलग है। जैसे नॉर्थ गुजरात में बात करें तो नॉर्थ से फ्लो करके साउथ में आने वाली नदियाँ ही पानी लाके जो एलुवियम को बिछाया था उसकी बात है। अब साउथ गुजरात में वही एलुवियम की बात करें तो उसकी सारी नदियाँ पेरेनियल है। महाराष्ट्र मध्य प्रदेश से जो आ रही है उसको रेगुलर बरसात का बेनिफिट मिल रहा है। हमारी जो नदियाँ हैं साबरमती वगैरह राजस्थान से आ रही तो वहाँ भी हमारे जैसी परिस्थिति है। तो ये कुछ दृष्टिकोण है। तो इस दृष्टिकोण को ध्यान में रखते हुए नॉर्थ गुजरात को देखें तो कुछ उसके कैरेक्टर्स थे। तो नदियों को लाए हम एक पर्टिकुलर इकोनॉमी को ध्यान में रखते हुए डैम्स वगैरह बनाए और उसके आधार पे हमने वाटर रिसोर्स को सिक्योर करने का प्रयास किया। बट क्योंकि एक इनहेरेंट कैरेक्टर था स्कैर्सिटी का तो उसके चलते हुए कुछ चीज़ें यहाँ पे फुलफिल नहीं हो पाई। इसके चलते हुए हमने लोकल सोर्सेज को भी इसके साथ जोड़ के एक इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट का प्रयास किया। उसके परिणाम हम सब देख रहे हैं, उसको बार बार बात करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है यहाँ पे। कुछ अगर मैं बात करूँ तो जैसे इनॉग्रल में इन्होंने बताया कि नॉर्थ गुजरात डेयरी डेवलपमेंट काफ़ी अच्छे से हुआ। तो मतलब बनास साबर दूध सागर ये 3 डेयरी का बहुत बड़ा योगदान रहा है पूरा इकोनॉमिक अपलिफ्टमेंट रूरल डेवलपमेंट प्रक्रिया में। उसने सब्सिक्वेंटली जो फॉलोअप हुआ तो एग्रीकल्चर में एग्रो प्रोसेसिंग इंडस्ट्रीज़ आई। देन ये सब आते आते ओएनजीसी भी हमारे पास में है। तो इंडस्ट्रियल डेवलपमेंट नेचुरल रिसोर्स बेस्ड लाइवलीहुड डेवलपमेंट और साथ में इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर अर्बन डेवलपमेंट भी काफ़ी इस विस्तार में हो रहा है। इसमें सब चीज़ों में देखा जाए पावरफुल मैसेज दिया है कि स्कैर्सिटी एरिया में भी हम डेवलपमेंट कर सकते हैं क्योंकि एक समय की मांग होती है और समय के साथ अगर चलते हैं तो नॉर्थ गुजरात का जो गट्स जो है वो मैं काफ़ी अनुभव कर चुका हूँ क्योंकि हम नॉर्थ गुजरात में बहुत समय से धरोई का भी हमने स्टडी किया था, अभी अर्बन रीजन्स में भी हम स्टडी कर रहे। तो वी आर सीइंग दैट कॉन्फिडेंस जो नॉर्थ गुजरात में है, कम्युनिटी में कॉन्फिडेंस है, एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन में कॉन्फिडेंस है और जो यहाँ पे इस तरीके के इंस्टीट्यूशन का कॉन्फिडेंस है वो एक देश में नॉर्थ गुजरात को एक अलग हाईलाइट पॉइंटर की तरह दिखाता है। कुछ ट्रेंड जो है ऑलरेडी पार्था सर ने यहाँ पे बता चुके हैं, बट अर्बन का जो पर्टिकुलर एक ट्रेंड है उसमें अर्बन सो कॉल्ड सिटी तो ज़्यादा नहीं हुए हैं बट सिटी अपने आप में एक्सपांड हो रहे हैं और सिटी जब एक्सपांड हो रहा है तो उसमें गांव जो है वो सिटी में इन्वॉल्व हो रहे हैं। तो पूरा एक ट्रांजिशन अगर अर्बन पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से देखा जाए तो सिटी है, अर्बन पार्ट है, सेमी अर्बन है, रूरबन है एंड देन रूरल है। तो एक सिटी को देखें तो कोर से लेके एक्सटेंडेड जो करे तो आज की डेट में लगभग ये सिनारियो हो रहा है। खास करके पाटन, महसाना एंड डिसा ये 3 जो सिटी है नॉर्थ गुजरात के वो इस पैटर्न को फॉलो करते हुए एक्सपांड हो रहे हैं। एग्रीकल्चर एंड अदर इंडस्ट्रियल डेवलपमेंट में तो आप सब लोगों को ज़्यादा पता होगा, क्योंकि जैसे जैसे यहाँ पे धरोई डैम बना, ग्रीन रिवॉल्यूशन के बाद धरोई डैम के बाद डेयरी डेवलपमेंट हुआ, उसके साथ ग्राउंड वाटर, और एक इम्पोर्टेंट बात यहाँ पे जो हुई वो पूरा इलेक्ट्रिसिटी का यूज़, और इलेक्ट्रिसिटी का यूज़ करते हुए उसके बाद जो रिफॉर्म आया, हाँ, पूरा फीडर को अलग करना, ये सारी चीज़ें उसने भी अच्छी तरीके से यहाँ एक डेमोस्ट्रेशन करके दिखाया गया है। काफ़ी जैसे जैसे दूसरा ये भी है कि यहाँ पे एक पैरेलल प्रक्रिया ये होती गई, जैसे लोकल रिसोर्सेज डिप्लीट होते गए ऐसे डिस्टेंस रिसोर्सेज को यहाँ लाया गया, और दोनों तरीके से नॉट ओनली सरफेस रिसोर्सेज को लाया बट सरफेस रिसोर्सेज के माध्यम से ग्राउंड वाटर को भी रिच करने का प्रयास किया गया। जैसे सुजलाम सुफलाम स्प्रेड चैनल जो है उसने बहुत बड़ा एक रोल प्ले किया है कि ग्राउंड वाटर को कैसे हम यहाँ पे सस्टेन कर सकते हैं, और बाय क्रॉसिंग द नॉर्थ गुजरात बनासकांठा का जो एरिड रीजन है वहाँ पे कैसे पानी को लिया जाए, और वहाँ पे पानी का इस्तेमाल करते हुए सलाइन, अभी पाटन का भी काफ़ी एरिया ऐसा है, तो सलाइन एंड स्केर्स दोनों एरिया जो है उस एरिया को सपोर्ट करने के लिए बाहर से भी जो सपोर्ट यहाँ पे आया। लेकिन इन सारी प्रक्रिया में देखा जाए तो ये एक डेवलपमेंट होता गया, डेवलपमेंट के साथ साथ डिमांड बढ़ती गई, डिमांड के साथ साथ जो रिसोर्सेज के माध्यम से उनको सस्टेन करने का प्रयास किया गया। लेकिन पैरेलली जो इस पूरी प्रक्रिया में जो एक बोलते थ्रेट पॉइंट या भय स्थान जो दिख रहा है वो ये है कि लोकल रिसोर्सेज का एक डिप्लीशन। तो हमने जब मैं दो बात करूँगा यहाँ पे, खास करके कैनाल कमांड एरिया इज़ वेरी डोमिनेंट इन नॉर्थ गुजरात। तो कैनाल कमांड एरिया में हमने पूरा देखा जाए तो रेनफॉल वाइज देखा जाए तो रेनफॉल एक समय ऐसा था कि वो डिक्लाइन ट्रेंड था, अभी रेनफॉल इंक्लाइन ट्रेंड में इंक्रीज हो रहा है। बट दोनों सिचुएशन में ये हो रहा है कि रेनफॉल बढ़ा तो है लेकिन इंटेंसिटी ज़्यादा हो गई। तो इंटेंसिटी ज़्यादा हो गई और हमारा लैंड यूज़ में भी जो बदलाव आया उसके चलते हुए जो एफिशिएंट रिचार्ज वगैरह होना था वो नहीं हो रहा है, फ्लडिंग की समस्या हमारे सामने आ गई है। और दूसरा साथ साथ में ये भी हो रहा है कि पानी बढ़ा है लेकिन उसका जो डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन विद इन द सीजन सही नहीं होने की वजह से जो हमारा यूटिलाइजेशन जो था और रिलायबिलिटी हमारा काफ़ी सारा या तो डिस्टेंस सोर पे रह गया या तो हमारे लोकल ग्राउंड वाटर पे रह गया। तो हमारा जो धरोई का एक स्टडी हमने किया था उसमें देखा जाए तो यू कैन सी द रेड लाइन शोज द डिक्लाइनिंग ट्रेंड ऑफ द रेनफॉल। एक समय ऐसा था कि रेनफॉल के माध्यम से जो धरोई डैम में पानी आता था वो सही मात्रा में आता था, तो कमांड एरिया भी सही था, कैनाल से वो इरिगेशन भी होता था। बट एज द रेनफॉल डिक्रीज इरिगेशन जो है वो इरिगेशन बढ़ता ही गया। इसका सीधा सीधा मतलब ये है कि धरोई या जो भी सरफेस वाटर आया बट हमारा ग्राउंड वाटर का यूटिलाइजेशन बढ़ा, तो इरिगेशन तो सस्टेन हुआ बट सोर्स शायद कहीं ना कहीं दोनों सोर्स के बीच में कहीं एक डिस्प्यूट खड़ा हो गया और एक सोर्स डिक्लाइन होने लगा, दूसरा सोर्स रिलायबल नहीं रहा। अर्बन एरिया की बात करें अगर तो हमने 2017-18 में एक स्टडी की थी महसाना की, सारे स्टडीज़ की, तो आप यहाँ पे भी देख पाएंगे एक्सेप्ट डीसा लगभग सिटी में जो है तो सरफेस एंड ग्राउंड वाटर की बात करें तो महसाना काफ़ी सरफेस वाटर के माध्यम से सप्लाई हो रहा है। बट बाकी बहुत सारे जो सिटी है वो धीरे धीरे करके ग्राउंड वाटर के ऊपर भी डिपेंडेंट हो रहे हैं। यहाँ पे ड्रिंकिंग वाटर में बात करें तो ड्रिंकिंग वाटर में एक समस्या ये भी हो रही है कि एज ग्राउंड वाटर डिप्लीट हो रहा है साथ साथ में क्वालिटी के इश्यूज आ रहे हैं। तो जैसे ऊंझा वगैरह एरिया जो है वो काफ़ी फ्लोराइड की समस्या से जुड़ रहे हैं। तो अब ये समस्याएं उभर रही है, इस समस्या को कहीं हमें एड्रेस करने की ज़रूरत पड़ेगी अलॉन्ग विथ लोकल रिसोर्स मैनेजमेंट। ये कुछ सिटी के नक्शे हैं जो हमने स्टडी किया था। यू कैन सी एक सिटी में सिर्फ एक सोर्स नहीं है, हाँ, लेकिन जो हमारे पास जो सोर्स को हम देख रहे हैं, महत्व दे रहे हैं, वो पर्टिकुलर जो एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन से जो सोर्स आता है उसको काफ़ी इंपॉर्टेंट दे रहे हैं। लोकलाइज लेवल पे बहुत सारे सोर्स भी इस्तेमाल होते हैं, जैसे काफ़ी एरियाज है सिटी में, अर्बन एरियाज में बहुत सारे एरिया जो लोकल अपने खुद के सोर्स भी है। तो कोई कोई सिटी है जिसमें एक सिटी के एरिया है जिसमें एक सोर्स से पानी आता है, 2 सोर्स से आता है, 3 से आता है, 4, अभी तो वो वाटर सप्लाई भी आ गया है तो कोई कोई एरिया 4-4 सोर्सेज से भी पानी ले रहा है। तो जैसे जैसे सोर्सेज बढ़ रहे ऐसे ऐसे यूटिलाइजेशन भी वहाँ पे बढ़ रहा है। कुल मिला के देखा जाए तो 2000 ये कुछ नक्शे हैं 2015 और 2025 के बीच में एक एक बहुत महत्वपूर्ण चीज़ यहाँ पे ये दिख रही है कि बरसात से पहले पानी की सिचुएशन अच्छी रहती है, मॉनसून के बाद वहाँ पे डिप्लेशन चालू हो जाता है। तो द ट्रेंड ऑफ डिप्लेशन 2015 और 2024 दोनों में लगभग सही रहा है। मतलब ये है कि यूटिलाइजेशन भी बढ़ रहा है और ट्रेंड भी डिक्लाइन हो रहा है। तो ये एक बहुत बड़ी चैलेंज है, और इस चैलेंज को अगर देखा समराइज करें तो एक और एक्सट्रैक्शन, डिप्लेटिंग वाटर टेबल, सैलिनिटी इंट्रूजन की समस्या, क्वालिटी डिग्रेडेशन हो रहा है, रेगुलेशन कहीं पे लैकिंग हो रहा है क्योंकि बहुत सारा ग्राउंड वाटर प्राइवेटली इस्तेमाल होता है, और क्लाइमेट इम्पैक्ट तो डेफिनेटली हम देख ही रहे हैं इसके ऊपर। इस सारी प्रक्रिया को जूझने के लिए कोलैबोरेटिव अटेम्प्ट भी बहुत हुए, जैसे गवर्नमेंट ने सेंट्रलाइज डिसेंट्रलाइज बहुत सारी स्कीम्स इम्प्लीमेंट की है, लोकल ऑर्गेनाइजेशनों ने भी बहुत सारा अटेम्प्ट यहाँ पे किया है, ग्राउंड वाटर रिचार्ज के भी बहुत सारे एफर्ट्स हुए हैं, वाटरशेड मैनेजमेंट प्रोग्राम भी यहाँ पे है। बट सारे जो प्रोग्राम हुए सबका एक फोकस था सप्लाई बढ़ाओ। तो हमने जो भी फोकस किया वो सप्लाई बढ़ा, तो जैसे सप्लाई बढ़ता गया ऐसे ऐसे हमने उसका उपयोग भी बढ़ा लिया। तो मतलब एक लोकल यूज़ भी बढ़ा है, साथ साथ में जैसे इंडस्ट्रीज़ हुई, अभी जैसे टूरिज़्म भी बढ़ रहा है। तो ये सब हमारी जो यूटिलाइजेशन डिमांड है वो डिमांड भी यहाँ पे पैरेलल ग्रो कर रही है। तो हमें ये दोनों को कहीं मैच करने की ज़रूरत है। तो ये सारे गैप्स जो है मैं इसको नहीं जाऊंगा क्योंकि 10 मिनट का ही टाइम है, लेकिन ये मोर और लेस जो भी देखा जाए तो यही गैप्स जो है वो अर्बन में या रूरल में देखे जाते हैं, और उस सारी प्रक्रिया में लोकल रिसोर्सेज जो है वो काफ़ी इग्नोर हुए हैं। तो हमारा जो अनुभव रहा है कि इन चीज़ों को करना है तो कम्युनिटी को इन्वॉल्व करते हुए कैसे हम एक अप्रोच ले सकते हैं, आइदर इन रूरल कॉन्टेक्स्ट और अर्बन कॉन्टेक्स्ट। तो इंटीग्रेटेड बट पीपल सेंट्रिक अप्रोच लेने की कहीं ज़रूरत है, और ये जो प्रक्रिया करेंगे तो शायद कहीं ना कहीं क्लाइमेट रेजिलिएंट प्लानिंग की दिशा में हम आगे बढ़ पाएंगे। तो इसके मैं 2 एग्जाम्पल के माध्यम से समझाने का प्रयास करूंगा, लेकिन ग्राउंड वाटर पे क्यों फोकस करना चाहता हूं वो मैं थोड़ा यहाँ आधे मिनट में बताऊंगा कि ग्राउंड वाटर आज भी कुछ भी हम कह लें लेकिन रिलेटिवली रिलायबल रिसोर्स है। क्योंकि हम तो कच्छ में बैठे हैं तो हमें पता है कि कभी 1 वीक तक पानी नहीं आता है, फिर भी हमारे घर में पानी आ जाता है क्योंकि हमारी सोसाइटी का बोरवेल हमको सप्लाई देता है। शायद थोड़ा क्वालिटी पुअर है तो आरओ लगा के हम उसको मैनेज कर रहे हैं। तो कहीं ना कहीं जो कितना भी हम डेवलप करें लेकिन उसको सस्टेन करने के लिए एक बैकयार्ड में एक सपोर्ट सिस्टम की तरह काम करता है। और दूसरा है कि क्लाइमेट से वो जो प्रभाव होता चाहिए, मतलब आज बरसात नहीं आई तो कल आपका पानी ख़त्म नहीं हो जाएगा, वो आपके पास कुछ पानी तो वहाँ रहता है। तो ये 2 चीज़ों को अगर ध्यान में रखें और थोड़ा हम ग्राउंड वाटर को फोकस करें तो मेरी यही अपेक्षा है कि नॉर्थ गुजरात ने इतना सारा करके दिखाया तो ये चैलेंज भी अच्छी तरीके से नॉर्थ गुजरात टैकल कर सकते हैं। हमने कच्छ में एक प्रयास किया था, एक पूरा बड़ा एक्वीफर को लेके सारे स्टेक होल्डर्स, क्योंकि पहले तो सिर्फ रूरल थे एंड अर्बन थे, और अर्बन में भी जैसे देखा जाए तो लगभग रूरल जैसा ही एटीट्यूड होता था। अभी अर्बन का एटीट्यूड बहुत चेंज हो चुका है, तो रूरल एंड अर्बन वर्सेस हो चुके हैं। साथ में इंडस्ट्रीज़ भी है, टूरिज़्म भी है, तो बहुत सारी डिमांड बढ़ चुकी है। लेकिन सबको साथ में लाके कैसे करना, तो एक बड़ा सा एक्वीफर जो है, जो नॉर्थ गुजरात भी लगभग सिमिलर तरीके का एक्वीफर है, मतलब एक ही एक्वीफर में बहुत सारे लोग निर्भर है, तो सबको जोड़ने का प्रयास करते हुए लगभग एक पार्टिसिपेटरी ग्राउंड वाटर मैनेजमेंट की बात करें, जिसमें खास तो ये किया था कि कम्युनिटी को पानी यूज़ करना है तो उसको एजुकेट करके कैसे वो पानी को इस्तेमाल करे ताकि वो अपने लेवल पे पानी बचाने का प्रयास करे। तो जो एक्सटेंडेड सोर्स से भी पानी आता है, जैसे हमारे यहाँ पे नर्मदा का कैनाल अभी आना शुरू हो गया, तो नाउ पीपल स्टार्टेड कि क्यों 7-8 किलोमीटर लंबा पाइपलाइन ले जाने के बदले उसका पानी लेके अपने बोर को रिचार्ज कर दो, तो एटलीस्ट ग्राउंड वाटर सस्टेन कर देगा, तो हमको जब चाहे तब हम पानी को इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं। तो वो एक अनुभव रहा। इसमें पूरी जर्नी ऐसे रही थी कि एक्वीफर की मैपिंग, ग्राउंड वाटर की मैपिंग को लेके प्लानिंग, इम्प्लीमेंटेशन सब में उनको जोड़ा गया, और धीरे धीरे उनकी इम्पैक्ट भी उनके जरिए मेज़र करवाया गया, ताकि जैसे वो वाटर लेवल बढ़ता गया, ग्राउंड वाटर क्वालिटी इंप्रूव होती गई, तो परिस्थिति बदलती है, लेकिन बदलती हुई परिस्थिति में भी किस तरीके से हम काम करें ताकि फिर से वो सिचुएशन डिटोरिएट नहीं हो जाए। तो दिस इज़ रिलेटेड टू रूरल। सेम वे अर्बन में एक पूरी जो प्रक्रिया हुई थी जो राजकोट सिटी की है, राजकोट सिटी भी NIUA के साथ पहले से स्टेज में पायलट किया गया था। वहाँ भी लगभग यही समस्या थी कि अर्बन एरिया एक्सपांड हो रहा है, बरसात में फ्लडिंग होती है और कुछ एरिया जो है वो समर में स्कैरसिटी हो जाता है, तो टैंकर सप्लाई बहुत करनी पड़ रही है। तो कॉरपोरेशन के साथ रह के पूरी एक सिटी की मैपिंग करके अच्छी तरीके से मैपिंग करके हर वार्ड में क्या ग्राउंड वाटर की सिचुएशन है और हर वार्ड में कैसे प्लान करना चाहिए, तो उस तरीके से वो नॉलेज को कॉरपोरेशन के साथ कॉरपोरेशन के सिस्टम में इनबिल्ड किया गया और उसको ध्यान में रहते हुए काफ़ी कस्टमाइज लेवल में टेलर मेड सॉल्यूशंस एग्जीक्यूट किए गए कॉरपोरेशन के माध्यम से। तो आज वो धीरे धीरे फ्लडिंग की समस्या तो कम हो रही है, लेकिन ग्राउंड वाटर एंड वाटर अवेलेबिलिटी सिटी में ही बढ़ने लगी है। तो अभी वो एक वाइज यूज़ की तरह सिटी में जा रहे हैं, जिसका अभी महसाना और गांधीनगर में भी और पालनपुर, ये तीनों सिटी में ये एक प्रक्रिया हो रही है। तो कुल मिला के देखा जाए तो नॉर्थ गुजरात की अगर हम बात करें तो एक नॉर्थ गुजरात ने कम्युनिटी ने अच्छी तरीके से एक डेवलपमेंट मॉडल दिया है, तो क्यों ना अभी हम पूरी प्रक्रिया को डेवलपमेंट से मैनेजमेंट मॉडल की तरह ले जाए, जिसमें अर्बनाइजेशन जो हो रहा है, तो अर्बनाइजेशन जैसे रविंद्र सर ने बताया कि आइकॉनिक रोड बना रहे हैं, तो उसी जगह पे हम वही आइकॉनिक रिचार्ज का मॉडल भी करने का प्लान कर रहे हैं, ताकि वी कैन शोकेस नो एक अच्छा डेवलपमेंट के साथ एक मैनेजमेंट रिसोर्स मैनेजमेंट का मॉडल भी वहाँ पे हम इम्प्लीमेंट करें। तो ये सारी चीज़ें जो है मतलब कंक्लूजन में बात करें तो बहुत सारा अटेम्प्ट हुआ है, बट वो फ्रेगमेंटेड अटेम्प्ट हुए, उसको कहीं ना कहीं साथ में जोड़ने की ज़रूरत पड़ेगी। तो मतलब गवर्नमेंट, इंडस्ट्रीज़, रूरल कम्युनिटी, जो भी स्टेक होल्डर है, सबको साथ में आना पड़ेगा, साथ में बहुत बड़ा एक रोल प्ले करना पड़ेगा एजुकेशन इंस्टीट्यूशंस को, क्योंकि इस तरीके का एजुकेशन भी अपनी व्यवस्था में कहीं लाने की ज़रूरत पड़ेगी। बस यही रिकमेंडेशन में है कि एक तो एक कम्युनिटी को एंगेज करते हुए हम ये सारी प्रक्रिया को करें। एंड अभी जो एक शब्द खड़ा हो गया है कि रूरल वर्सेस अर्बन, बिग वर्सेस स्मॉल, इसमें से वर्सेस शब्द को निकाल के रूरल एंड अर्बन को साथ में कैसे जोड़े, बिग एंड स्मॉल को साथ में कैसे जोड़े, तो इस प्रक्रिया को जोड़ना है तो हमें हर तरीके के स्टेक होल्डर, हर तरीके के कम्युनिटी को हमारी प्रोसेस में एंगेज करने की ज़रूरत पड़ेगी। थैंक यू वेरी मच, मुझे यहाँ के ये बात रखने का मौका दिया।
Thank you so much, sir. Very informative and impactful presentation, sir. Once again, thank you so much once again. તાળીઓ સાથે એમનો આભાર વ્યક્ત કરીએ. અને હવે I invite Dr. Mona Iyer, Professor, SAFT University. Please, ma'am, आपका presentation शुरू कीजिए. Thank you, sir.
While they are setting up the presentation, first of all, thank you very much, Waghela sir, for the warm invitation and a very well coordinated event by your very efficient team. Thank you for that. Thank you, Commissioner sir from Mehsana. My connection with Mehsana goes a long way. I am a child who grew up in NDDB campus in Anand, and Dudhsagar was our go-to place. That time, the Sagar ghee, Kanidar, Mehsana nu ghee. And later, I worked in Mehsana in 2005 when the CDPs were being prepared, and it was Nagar Palika. Worked very closely with the chief officers that time, and the political side, which had Mr. Girish Rajkor, and worked for many, many years till 2010 with Mehsana. So it's really a pleasure to come back to Mehsana through the invitation of Gandhinagar. And the other powerful... Very nice. So it's a wonderful occasion. And other powerful message that this kind of regional conferences give is also that we have been witnessing Vibrant Gujarat for last 20 years. And what we see that an event gets this kind of decentralized power when it starts getting that kind of magnitude. So that's also commendable to see that we are focusing on the regions. My talk today is on water sensitivity as catalyst for vibrant urban transformation. I can see it on my screen, and I'll just wait till it appears here because it has a lot of graphics. Yeah, thank you. If I try to connect the dots between what has been said since the beginning, where you set the tone and where the importance of good quality of life along with good growth of the region, Professor Partha also talked about how the blue and the green are important in the transitional areas and also the urban areas. Dr. Yogesh's presentation was a deep dive into what is happening to the water resources. What I'm presenting here is about water sensitivity as a catalyst for vibrant urban transformation. So Gatishil transformation mate, vibrant transformation mate, water sensitivity is a catalyst. Udipak bane છે. And how we use water sensitivity through urban planning and urban transformation is part of my presentation. Part of this work was also done for the Gujarat High Level Committee on Urban Planning under the chairmanship of Verma sir and the leadership of Ashwani sir at that time. So part of that work also comes here. I will talk about the context and why do we need to talk about water sensitivity. Status kya hai, challenges kya hai. I will switch between English, Hindi, Gujarati depending on what words I catch. So context क्या है, किस context में हम अभी operate कर रहे हैं, हमारा status और challenges क्या है water sensitivity को लेके, water bodies को लेके, और future हम जो देखते हैं water sensitivity का और urban transformation का, वो हम कैसा देखना चाहेंगे हमारे पूरे urban transformation की story में. So context की बात करें तो historically Gujarat and many parts of India have been historically examples of very advanced water-linked urban planning. If you look at the image of Lothal, which was a major port in Gujarat, or you look at image of Dholavira now in Kutch, a prosperous town in the arid region. And it was at that time a megapolis. And in both, the common thing that you see is the town is engulfed by water bodies. And that was the kind of water sensitivity which we used to plan in our plans. And planning existed even at that time. So this is the historical thing, and water was a pillar of civilization to either come up or to fall down. If we take a closer look of Dholavira, it just shows us how two seasonal rivers, Mansar and Manhar, were dammed and the reservoirs were built around the entire megapolis. This was the kind of water security we were looking at. Why do we now need to refocus and conserve our water systems? There are 5 major pillars through which water-sensitive urban transformation becomes a requirement. First is urbanization and pressure on water resources, which has already been highlighted by my co-presenters. Second is the increasing water scarcity. Third, urban flooding और उससे होने वाले economic losses. Ecosystem services जो ये सारी water bodies हमें provide करती हैं, और recreation and aesthetic value. किसी भी शहर में हम चले जाएं, कितना भी डेवलपमेंट हो, वहाँ पे livelihoods हो, we all need quality of life. And when we are free and we want to spend good time, we look for nature, we look for green spaces to go, we look for blue places to go, and as sir said, we look for good public plazas. Sir mentioned about how we need good streets, good public plazas, good public places around blue and green, and therefore, all of these things put together, these are 5 very important reasons why we need to refocus on water as becoming the fulcrum of our urban transformation. Urbanization की बात करें तो हमने एक रैपिड असेसमेंट किया कि वाटर डिमांड जो इंक्रीज हो रही है और डिपेंडेंस हमारी डिस्टेंट सोर्सेज पे बढ़ रही है. So what is the kind of dependence, and big cities have dependence on distant water sources going up to more than 250 kilometers. Most of the water bodies are in the rural areas, and the proportion of population is high in the urban areas. If we look at the spread of water bodies, and this is from our state document and the water body census that was done by the government of India. So if we look at the central Gujarat, North, Saurashtra and Kutch, And if you pay attention to, if you can see the cursor movement, North Gujarat, the percentage of water resources 11 and the percentage of area 20. So Gujarat, by its natural geography, has an unequal distribution of water resource. We all know that. South Gujarat has the maximum proportion of water resource with almost the same area. And therefore also it becomes extremely important for us to pay enough and more attention on water resources. If we look at the water body census data from the Government of India, the number of water bodies that are more than 50,000 water bodies in the rural areas. And these rural areas include the peri-urban and the transitional areas. And therefore, that is a big opportunity that we have to conserve all these big and small water bodies in the areas. And if we look at the size of water bodies, if you pay attention here, less than 5 hectares, 0.5 to 1, and 1 to 5. So many water bodies which are in the range of 1 to 5 hectares, if they are conserved well, along with their catchment, we can recharge a lot of groundwater. We can also have great public places. If these become part of our development plans, TP schemes, local area plans. So that was one part of the story. Second is the increasing water scarcity. And therefore also we need to pay attention to water resources. So this is again our situation of groundwater sources and the surface water sources. And the red areas depict how water stressed we are. And Niti Aayog report says that more than 20 cities will face day zero kind of situation which was faced by Cape Town. And therefore also we need to respond to the urgent need of water conservation. Third, and the one which is faced by all of us a lot more in magnitude over last 10 to 15 years than before, is the phenomena of urban flooding. Earlier our imagination of flooding was riverine flooding. जहाँ पे बड़ी नदी होती है वहाँ पे फ्लड आता है, बट अब जहाँ बड़े शहर होते हैं वहाँ पे फ्लड आता है, नदी वहाँ ना भी हो. And therefore we as a civilization coined a word called urban flooding. पहले सिर्फ coastal flooding, riverine flooding, pluvial flooding ये होता था. अब जो है urban flooding शुरू हो गया because of the disruption of small and big water channels, जिसमें पूरा साल पानी नहीं बहता है, तो शायद हमसे हमारे डेटाबेस में वो नहीं होते हैं, तो उस पर कंस्ट्रक्शन हो जाता है, पानी का रास्ता रुक जाता है और वहीं पे पानी स्टैग्नेट हो जाता है. सो अर्बन फ्लडिंग और उससे जुड़े हुए इकोनॉमिक लॉसेस. सो अर्बन फ्लडिंग का एक एस्टिमेशन है कि ये जो है वो फ्लड पीक को ऑलमोस्ट 2 से 8 गुना बढ़ा देता है और फ्लड वॉल्यूम्स को ऑलमोस्ट 6 टाइम बढ़ा देता है जब अर्बन एरियाज में सेम अमाउंट ऑफ रेनफॉल हो वर्सेस रूरल एरिया में, क्योंकि अर्बन में कंस्ट्रक्टेड एरिया ज़्यादा है, रन ऑफ बहुत ज़्यादा है और कहीं एक जगह पे जाके रुक जाता है. और इसीलिए अर्बन प्लानिंग के अंदर वाटर फ्लडिंग को बहुत अच्छे से देखने की ज़रूरत है. अर्बन फ्लडिंग से बढ़ते इकोनॉमिक लॉसेस की भी बहुत सारी एस्टिमेशंस किए गए हैं. 1 ट्रिलियन एनुअली वर्ल्ड वाइड दिस विल बी द लॉस बाय 2050. एंड आई विल मूव अ लिटिल फास्टर. Ecosystem services. We all know what kind of ecosystem services these water bodies provide. If we look at Saputara Lake or Biodiversity Park, both in Surat and Ahmedabad, or we look at Oxygen Park or any big and small park in any given city, and we need more places like this, which will always have a water body by its side. Fifth, recreational and aesthetic value. Again, improve urban livability, enhances mental and physical well-being. We have Bhuj, Hamirsar Lake, Kankaria, Sabarmati Riverfront, Gopi Talab in Surat, and many more. If we look at what state of Gujarat has been doing to conserve and address urban water system, it has become part of the first water body census. There are state-wise reports from 2023 onwards where we have details of what is the ownership of the water body, what is the size, what is the location. So that has become the first national level mapping of water bodies, which will help us conserve them, because if we can't measure them, we can't improve it. If we can't measure it, we can't save it. There is another report by GEMI, Gujarat Environment Management Institute, on quality of 13 important lakes of the state, and what is happening to the quality and how can we improvise. And GEMI conducts this kind of studies from time to time. These are not done at a regular frequency, these are done thematically from time to time. We also have master plan for groundwater recharge, which was planned in 2020. to reduce the groundwater depletion, and Yogesh Bhai did present a couple of initiatives to us. Shallow aquifer management that he presented, Gujarat had one city, Rajkot, as a part of 10 cities which were taken up part of Amrut 2.0 under the shallow aquifer management, and shallow aquifers are going to become our first point of recharge for all the cities because we have almost emptied our shallow aquifers. So Rajkot had become the case, and a lot of work is happening in Rajkot on that. There are manuals for town planning schemes and local area plans prepared by the Gujarat RERA, which also talk about how to conserve urban water bodies. So it is not that we are starting from scratch. There is already a lot of work done. We just need to give more impetus to this work. What are the challenges? We have lost lakes and streams. Urban greens need to be increased. So I'll show some images. It's not important where they are, every city has this. आप 20 साल में किसी भी लेक को देखें, लेक की जगह पे कोई लैंड यूज़ आ जाता है, बिकॉज हमारे पास वो लेक मैप नहीं होता है. बारिश कम हुई, लेक में पानी नहीं आया, 4-5 साल नहीं आया, उसकी कैचमेंट कट गई, उसका लैंड यूज़ कन्वर्जन हो गया, वहाँ पे कुछ और बन जाता है. This is again a situation of 2 lakes which become a land use. Again a situation of a linked lake which water body keeps on shrinking, and these are all from Gujarat. A stream on which a road gets constructed completely, and the role of urban greens in water management. Urban greens हमारे पास करीब 9 square kilometer per person होने चाहिए. If we see the status, of course, Gandhinagar is way ahead at the country level in terms of urban greens. If we have that kind of quality of life, and if we want to have that kind of quality of life for all cities, we will have to reach at least 50 square meter per person. And we are at almost 2 to 5 square meter per person in any city in terms of urban greens. And if this is the challenge, what is the way forward? Conserve the lakes and their catchments. कोई भी लेक डेवलपमेंट होता है तो खाली लेक फ्रंट नहीं, उसकी पूरी कैचमेंट बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट बन जाती है. काफ़ी सारे शहर कैचमेंट्स को देखने लगे हैं. मैं एक एग्जांपल लेती हूँ. कोई एक 700 स्क्वायर मीटर का लेक हो तो उसकी कैचमेंट 1.5 किलोमीटर से 12 किलोमीटर तक बड़ी हो सकती है. और वो पूरी कैचमेंट में जो इंपॉर्टेंट स्ट्रीम्स हैं उनको पहले से मैप कर लिया जाए, पहले से डेवलपमेंट प्लान और टीपी स्कीम में ले लिया जाए, तो जब वो लेक फ्रंट बनेगा तो उस लेक में पानी भी आएगा और हम उसको लेक फ्रंट वाटर फ्रंट बना पाएंगे. इनिशिएटिव्स टू रिवाइव लेक्स काफ़ी हुए हैं. अहमदाबाद के अंदर लेक इंटरलिंकिंग का एक प्रोजेक्ट था जिसके चलते ग्राउंड वाटर लेवल में इंप्रूवमेंट देखा गया है वस्त्रापुर में. रिवर फ्रंट के बाद रिवर फ्रंट के दोनों साइड ग्राउंड वाटर लेवल्स इंप्रूव हुए हैं. दिस हैज़ बीन रिपोर्टेड डेटास. So conserving lakes and their catchments, conserving greens is very important by making urban greens and sponges. इसमें थोड़े examples हैं इस तरीके के water harvesting structures जो बाहर बने हैं इंडिया के, but हमारे campus में, सेप्ट campus में भी एक water recharge structure है which takes water, it becomes like a step well, it becomes an amphitheater, a public place and a water recharge structure, because at the end of the day we don't have more than 25 rainy days in this arid part of the country, so we can't have anything permanently only storing water. ट्रेडिशनल वाटर स्ट्रक्चर्स हमारे बहुत सारे हैं जिनको कंजर्व किया जा सकता है. सो वाटर सेंसिटिव डेवलपमेंट प्लान, ऑलरेडी अहमदाबाद का जो डेवलपमेंट प्लान 2041 का बन रहा है उसमें वाटर सेंसिटिविटी का लेयर ऐड कर दिया है जिसके अंदर सारे वाटर बॉडीज़ को मैप किया है, उनके इंटरलिंकिंग का प्लान है, ज़्यादा लेक्स बनाने का प्लान है जो देसाई सर के लीडरशिप के अंडर बन रहा है. भुज का जो डेवलपमेंट प्लान है उसके अंदर लॉस्ट लेक्स को वापस मैप करके जन भागीदारी से जो पूरा लेक्स का मैपिंग हुआ उसको वापस डेवलपमेंट प्लान में, जो लैंड कन्वर्ट हो गया था उसको लेक में कन्वर्ट कर दिया गया है. तो बहुत सारे अच्छे स्टेप्स हम लोगों ने गुजरात लेवल पे लिए हैं. और ये मेरी लास्ट कपल ऑफ पिक्चर्स हैं जो मैं बताना चाहती हूँ कि वाइल गुजरात इज प्रिपेयरिंग इटसेल्फ फॉर वाटर सेंसिटिविटी, इंडिया हैज़ ऑलरेडी लॉन्च्ड ऑन 6th October, just 3 days back, a 2,000 crore urban flood plan for 11 cities. And this talks about blue-green plans, green infrastructure, rainwater harvesting, porous pavements, rooftop harvesting. And the last point is very important. We are also talking about converting playgrounds to serve as temporary underground water storage areas. इसमें मैं बस थोड़ी images के साथ अपना end करूँगी. Several international local cases exhibit the use of such inputs. जापान में ऑलरेडी टीपी स्कीम्स रोड के कंटूर के और वाटर फ्लो के हिसाब से बनती है. रोड इज ग्रिड आयन बट इट फॉलोज द कंटूर एंड द नेचुरल टोपोग्राफी विच डज नॉट कट द नेचुरल स्ट्रीम्स. नेचर बेस्ड अप्रोचेस जहाँ जितना हो सके वाटर, जब वाटर लेवल बढ़ जाए उसको सिंक होने के लिए ग्रीन एरिया दिया जाता है. हम हमारा तापी रिवर फ्रंट देखें तो भी इसी तरीके का है. ये पूरा फ्लडिंग एरिया है. यहाँ लैंडस्केपिंग रहेगा, बट पानी बढ़ गया लैंडस्केप डूब जाएगा, पानी एब्जॉर्ब कर लेगा. जब पानी कम हो गया वो लैंडस्केप अपने आप रिवाइव हो जाएगा. So we also have such situations. Lot of interaction with the water body that we give to the people. We have similar nature-based approach and a park in Ahmedabad, Symphony Park, if you come and see, very, very connected to people. Nature-based approaches in Netherlands and water streams, we also have those in India. This is one of the last slides that I have, last two slides, where the report of Government of India on 6th October is also saying that construct huge storage tanks under playgrounds to store the flood water. Japan is actually doing it. It has world's largest underground reservoir. You can see the picture. I have taken a picture with human figures there. You can see the scale. So it holds 268 Olympic pools. And this also is used only at the time of flooding. Rest of the time, it is an exhibition and an experience center, so that people can go and experience how water can be conserved. In our country, we have tried it at two places at a very small scale, but we have tried it. One in Santa Cruz and another in Dadar, to store the rainwater that was otherwise stopping the operations of the railway line. So under the playground, they have constructed huge tanks, and then the playground was brought back to its original shape. And these water tanks become not just the holding tanks, but also later the usable water. So from rainwater, roof water harvesting to valves, kunds, lakes, streams, we are also moving towards this kind of solution, and this kind of urban transformation is taking place. And we hope that we move towards better water security. With that, thank you very much.
We have the just a 5 minute, just a fast return and occupied your seat. Only 5 minutes.
सिटी का करते हैं, तो उसको लगा कि इतने कम समय में कैसे हो सकता है, सब करके हाँ इस पूरा हो अभी सिटी में पूरा हो मसाला का काफ़ी डेटा वगैरह कलेक्शन चल रहा है। वो मतलब का ओरिएंटेशन अभी क्या है कि का हो जाएगा तो बाद में DPR का सर्वे आएगा तो उसमें बहुत सारे वीडियोस की जरूरत पड़ेगी। दो बच्चे सबसे पढ़ेंगे 25 साल के क्लास उनको तो कोर्स कर रहे हैं 2 फ्रेंड को ऑफिस करना है। आपको राजकोट आपको आपकी काले में भूजમાં તો નિવેદ એક શરૂ વાત કરીએ original textbook છે આ વખતે જે નેક્સ્ટ કરીશ ને ડિપ્લોમા કોર્સમાં જે અર્બન તો બધા ઓફલાઈન આવશે બધા અને એ વખતે તમને બોલાવું છું બધા સ્ટુડન્ટ બહુ
Uh, Thank you so much once again. And after tea break, I would like to invite on stage Honorable Commissioner, Gandhinagar Municipal Corporation, Sri J.N. Wagila sir. Please come forward on stage. Honorable Commissioner, Mehsana Municipal Commissioner, Sri Ravindra Khatale sir, IAS, આપને વિનંતી છે મંચ ઉપર આવશો. I also request Dr. Parth Sarthi sir, please come forward. Dr. Yogesh Jadeja, founder ACT, and also request Dr. Mona Iyer, Professor, Safety University. We will start the coffee table book prepared by the Mehsana Municipal Corporation. I would like on dignitaries on the dais, please come forward and launching the coffee table book. This is the coffee table book prepared by the Mehsana Municipal Corporation. बहुत तालियों के साथ आइए इसका लॉन्चिंग हो रहा है. महसाना जो रिसेंटली म्युनिसिपल कॉरपोरेशन में रूपांतरित हुई है, आइए कॉफी टेबल बुक्स आज सभी डिग्निटरीज लॉन्च कर रहे हैं. Thank you, sir. All the request for the photo. This is the coffee table book prepared by the Mehsana Municipal Corporation, and this time the launching, all respected officers. We have the Commissioner, GMC and MMC. Thank you so much, sir. Now, again request, sir, all respected dignitaries, we have the another book on painting, various things, Mehsana Municipal Corporation. I also request, please, launching the second book. A book on painting, various things, Mehsana Municipal Corporation. Thank you so much once again. Many congratulations, Mehsana Municipal Corporation. Wall team prepared by the coffee table and also painting variation things, Mehsana City. बहुत तालियों की गूंज के साथ ये दोनों बुक का आज लॉन्च हुआ है. Very informative, very impactful, useful. ये दोनों बुक सभी गणमान्य महानुभाव आज लॉन्च कर रहे हैं. महसाना सिटी जो कल्चरल और ट्रेडिशनल एक्टिविटी के साथ जानी जाती है, और बुक ऑन पेंटिंग वेरियस थिंग्स इसमें कलेक्शन किया गया है महसाना सिटी के साथ, जो कंपटीशन पेंटिंग को सिलेक्ट किया गया था. आइए खूब तालियों के साथ Thank you so much once again. Thank you. Thank you, sir. I will all respected dignitaries kindly settle on your seat. Thank you so much once again. Thank you. Now time to a MOU exchange. Shallow Aquifer Management 2.0 between Mehsana Municipal Corporation, NIUA, Delhi. I would like to invite behalf Mehsana Municipal Corporation Honorable Collector Sir and Yogendra Jadeja Sir behalf NIUA. Please exchange the MOU file. This is the MOU for the Shallow Aquifer Management 2.0 between Mehsana Municipal Corporation and NIUA, Delhi. Thank you, sir, so much. Thank you. आज MOU का एक्सचेंज हुआ है. Thank you, sir. Kindly take a seat, sir. Now we will start the panel discussion. This particular session, as a moderator, Sri Ravindra Sir, IAS, Municipal Commissioner, Mehsana Corporation. We have the great personality as a particular panelist, Sri Dr. Parth Sarthi Sir. We have the honored IAS, Dr. Yogesh Jadeja, Dr. Mona Iyer, and we have the GMC Commissioner, GN Waghela Sir. Now request as a moderator, Sri Ravindra Sir, apne.
We actually had some other moderator, Nagarajan Sapthe, but he is somehow busy with some other thing, so I'll do the part of makeshift moderator. First of all, I'd like to thank all three of our speakers for giving very relevant and I'll say very necessary inputs to our administrative officers, and most of them are basically urban officers. So all the topics that we dwelled on were of quite relevant nature. So if I have to start this discussion, I'll start with a question to Mona Iyer ma'am. We have seen this, like you mentioned in your presentation, that urban flooding has become a phenomenon in last few years, maybe because of so much of concretization that we are doing. So, as urban planners, as urban administrators, we always face this dilemma. At one point of time, to make our cities clean, we are going for wall-to-wall roads, so that there is no dirt, there is no cattle nuisance on the edges. So there are different methodologies, like when we are making iconic roads, we are taking care of drainage, we are making drainage lines, but through those drainage also what we are doing is we are collecting the water and then we are taking it away from the city. So as such there is no water recharge that is happening in situ. We had some meetings with some consultants. They had suggested these kind of things, what you were suggesting in your presentation, like porous pavements and all those things. So I'd like to know from you, what are these kind of technologies which we can utilize as part of infrastructure building without compromising on, let's say, the aesthetics and the beautification part of roads, but still how can we conserve that water and we can still recharge our places?
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Is working? Yes. Thank you, sir, for your point about how can we make our cities more porous and more...
I'm going to ask questions to you as well.
So, sir, I think you are very right. When we are doing these edge-to-edge roads, because we don't want dust, we don't want nuisance of cattle which is let free. The kind of problems our country has is so complex, and you all know it as administrator. It's to do a ideal street anywhere in Europe may be far easier or simpler in terms of the systems involved. So, but I think, sir, when we are doing edge-to-edge paving, if the footpath part is left to the porous pavement, because that is not going to carry that much load as the main right-of-way or carriageway is going to, main carriageway is going to carry. So if by our GDCR itself, if we can make the edges porous with interlocking paver blocks, I think we will at least infiltrate some more water. Also, when we are doing road medians, sir, in some places the road medians are done very well, but in some places the space left for any vegetation to grow, it's so little that nothing can grow there. It can't even work as a recharge structure itself. So paying very small attention to the medians, how wide they can be, how deep we can keep it. Also the trees which are already existing on our pavements and the edges, the kind of space that we leave around the tree. You know, in some places, when if it is left to the contractor without much guidance, the concrete comes up to the neck of the tree and the tree can barely breathe. So I think leaving some space, but these are small measures. There are a number of measures which one can take as recharge wells, khambati kuas, recharging through playgrounds. So yeah, but I'll pause here for a while, sir. Thank you.
I have something to add on this. Can I? Yes, sure. This is a See, we were doing work on rationalization of workforce for Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation. And we are trying to address many issues, including the sweepers. The one issue that came up was the cleanliness of the roads, especially when we have widened the roads. The machine that we use to clean the roads, the road sweepers, on the median it can clean very nicely, but on the side we can't. And if the roads are very broad, like the drive-in road, then for 1 kilometer we can have 7 people to work on either side. And they can't work because our traffic is so bad that it's almost impossible for them even to do in the night. And therefore what do you do? We'll have to pave on both the sides. And if you have the pavement blocks, that also gains a lot of dust, and who will clean that? That became an issue, and therefore this issue did not get resolved. So we can't leave it open. So, and therefore we had this payment completely done. When Mona is talking about it, it's very important. But then these are some of the things that came from the workers also. They said if you clean pave it, we can't really clean it. So how will you, these are two ends of the spectrum. Therefore the rationalization of workforce that we attempted got into some of these kind of issues, but they themselves gave a lot of ideas. So we need to engage with them and maintain a balance. Some roads possibly yes we can do, but some roads we can't, especially if it's a main trunk road. Thank you.
My next question will be to Jadeja Saab. These days, because there is a thing called tokenism, whichever plan you make, whatever schemes you make, you have to add 2-3 fancy words, right? One of them is, like, I'm saying it fancy word on a lighter note, but one of them is recharge structures, then rainwater harvesting, right? We have been listening to these things since long. Since I have joined administration, whichever building we are making, we are saying आंगनवाड़ी के ऊपर एक rainwater harvesting structure लगवा दो, school के ऊपर लगवा दो. But many times I see it is mostly a contractor driven kind of thing. कि ऐसा structure बनेगा. So what is your input on this? कि ideally जैसे राजकोट में आपने किया, मेहसाना में आप करने जा रहे हो कि we'll do shallow aquifer mapping, then which are the aquifers which are required to be recharged, and along with that what are basically ideal, अगर हमें plan बनाना है, एक road map बनाना है कि मेहसाना में water depletion का issue है, and if we have to make some changes in our development rules, in our building permission rules, so उसकी methodology क्या होनी चाहिए, what should be ideal, उसका अगर if you can give proper modules कि अंगनवाड़ी में ऐसा बनना चाहिए, स्कूल में ऐसा बनना चाहिए, can we work like that? I need your inputs on this.
एक तो मतलब इसमें आपने बहुत सही सवाल पूछा कि पिछली बार जब मैं आया था तब ये दर्शन जी के साथ जब बैठा तब यही डिस्कशन चल रहा था। तो हमने ये क्या कि अगर हमारे पास एक्विफर मैप है, ज़मीन के नीचे की परिस्थिति क्लियर है, स्पष्ट है, तो हम क्या कर सकते हैं उसी को, जैसे हमने राजकोट में वही अप्रोच लिया कि हर वार्ड में फिक्स किया कि आपको इस डेप्थ के आपको रिचार्ज तक ले जाना पड़ेगा, इससे नीचे जाने की ज़रूरत नहीं, इससे ऊपर भी आप रह नहीं पाओगे। तो ये पूरा जो नॉलेज खड़ा हुआ था, नॉलेज को उन्होंने क्या किया, कॉरपोरेशन की जो एक काउंसिलर की मीटिंग थी, तो मीटिंग में रिजोल्यूशन पास कर दिया पहले तो कि ये इस वार्ड का ये कैरेक्टर है, तो इस वार्ड में एक तो ये डेप्थ में आपको करना है। दूसरा उन्होंने क्या किया कि हमने एक स्ट्रेटेजिकली वो काम किया था कि बरसात का पानी 4 जगह पे गिरेगा। एक रूफ पे गिरेगा, सोसाइटी के कैंपस एरिया में गिरेगा या कोई इंस्टीट्यूशन के कैंपस एरिया में गिरेगा, रोड पे गिरेगा और लो लाइन एरियाज में जाके गिरेगा। अभी चारों वाटर जो गिरता है उसमें वाटर क्वालिटी सरफेस कहाँ पे है उसको भी ध्यान में रखना जरूरी, क्योंकि आजकल या पहले से मतलब एक कंसर्न रहता है कि अगर पॉल्यूटेड पानी ज़मीन में जाएगा तो उसको निकालना मुश्किल है, क्योंकि हमको रीयूज़ भी करना है। तो थोड़ा जो रेशियो इस तरीके से बन रहा था कि लगभग 60% पानी जो है रोड पे आने से पहले ही आपका रह जाता है। तो हमने एक फ्रेमवर्क बनाने का प्रयास किया कि अगर आपका लैंड यूज़ ये है, आपके नीचे जियोलॉजी ये है, तो आपके पास में 1 2 3 4 5 जो भी यहाँ के लिए जो टेक्निक्स है वो टेक्निक का पूरा डिज़ाइन स्पेसिफिक ऑब्जेक्टिव के साथ कि अगर यहाँ पे आपको करना है तो इतने डायमेंशन का डेप्थ, इतना साइज़ चाहिए, इतना डेप्थ चाहिए, इस तरीके का फिल्टर चाहिए और ये कंडीशन है तो आप इस फिल्टर में ये चीज़ भी ऐड कर दीजिए। तो पूरा फ्रेमवर्क जो बनाना, और फ्रेमवर्क बनाने के बाद हमने क्या किया कि कॉरपोरेशन के जो टीम थी उनके साथ में एक हैंड होल्डिंग करके कुछ डेमोस्ट्रेशन तो किया, लेकिन एक ट्रेनिंग किया कि आपको अगर कोई जगह पे कुछ एग्जीक्यूट करना है तो आपके पास ये फ्रेमवर्क है, इस फ्रेमवर्क को लेके आप इसमें से कोई भी चीज़ सिलेक्ट कीजिए और उसको फिजिबिलिटी देखिए, तो क्या होगा कि हमारा एक ऑब्जेक्टिव इसमें मैच होगा। अदरवाइज सी आपने पहले बोला ना कि विदाउट कॉम्प्रोमाइजिंग, तो मतलब बिल्डिंग कंप्लीशन का सर्टिफिकेट देना है तो हम सिर्फ डेप्थ को नहीं देखें, लेकिन उस डेप्थ को उसके साथ जोड़ के देखें कहाँ यहाँ तक गया है, तो इसका ये बेसलाइन हमारे पास ऑलरेडी है, तो उसको बहुत इफेक्टिवली इम्प्लीमेंट हम कर पाएंगे। और उसमें ये भी हुआ कि जैसे मान लो हर लैंड यूज़ के लिए एक एक स्ट्रक्चर आइडेंटिफाई किए गए थे, जिसमें कॉमन प्लॉट के लिए था रूप से आने वाला सीधा पानी और डिफंक वेल आपके पास में छोटा सा फिल्टर लगा के आप कर दो, रोड से कुछ आ रहा है या तो चारकोल इसमें ऐड कर दो, तो ये सारा फ्रेमवर्क बना के हम कर सकते हैं। बट एक चीज़ है कि एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन एंड इलेक्टेड बॉडी दोनों को साथ में मिल के एक सिटी लेवल का एक गाइडिंग प्रिंसिपल बनाना पड़ेगा, हम इसके ऊपर काम करेंगे और इसको सबको अडॉप्ट करना पड़ेगा।
थैंक यू। मैं यहाँ पे वाघेला साहब को भी थैंक्स कहूँगा बिकॉज उन्होंने आपका नाम सजेस्ट किया था। अभी हम आपको पकड़ लेंगे एंड विल गेट इट डन फॉर मेहसाना। हमारे पॉलिसीज में क्या आना चाहिए, हमारे स्ट्रक्चर्स का स्टैंडर्ड डिज़ाइन क्या होना चाहिए, विल गेट इट ऑल डन फ्रॉम यू।
नो डेफिनेटली वो खुशी होगी हमें करने में। इनफैक्ट मैं आपको एक चीज़ बता दूँ, कल या परसों में इस तरीके का SOP हमारा बन जाएगा जो राजकोट के लिए बना रहे हैं, उसमें जियोलॉजी पार्ट निकाल दे तो बाकी पूरी प्रोसेस इसमें रेप्लिकेट होगी, तो वो उसमें थोड़ा मॉडिफाई करके गांधीनगर और महसाना दोनों के लिए हम ये बनाएंगे।
My next question is to Professor Partha Sarthi sir. We were talking about regional growth hubs, like you gave example of Dholera, SIR, then Gift City is also one of them. But one major concern that we see these days, somehow if you go and talk to a neutral person who is, let's say, not a proud Gujarati, they will say you are putting so much of money in Gift and in so many other places where made diamond burj bhi banwaya tha, but people are not coming on their own. So are we lacking on some pull factors, or is it just the push factor that is promoting them to go to Gift or to diamond burj? And as a neutral observer, what do you think is lacking there, or what are the things that we need to do to make these hubs successful?
Thank you. It is a very good question. Since it is a very close house and it's a very sensitive question, let me answer it honestly. One thing that we are not asking the question every time we allocate land is how much actually you require. Whether it is for industries or whether it is for SIR or for anything, usually what we do is whatever is being asked for, we allocate the land. World over, whether it is in Shanghai or whether it is in Germany or in France, there is a zonation. So we have a master plan, but that's a very outdated concept. What we need is zonation. If you do the zonation within industry, within a city you have industries, or whether you have agriculture, you have something, then usually it is also asked, even in the US and other places, that how many workers are going to be in your IT industry, and what's your office space requirement, what is your shop floor requirement, multiply by 2, 4 for expansion, and then that amount is given. But we don't do that. What we do is, if I can take the example of Tata Nano, it is 500 first, and then it came to 700, then it is 1100 acres. So what are we doing? In most industries, not only in Gujarat, every other state, you find the industries carry more land than what they ever use. And in Tamil Nadu, sort of other areas, where the industries become defunct, the land became the hedge. So they try to use it for housing, for other things. The land which they actually got it at a concessional rate from the government. So one of the thing is that we, like in many other issues, we are supply driven. And the question that we'll have to ask is that ideally how much the gift city should be. What is our plan and how much we'll have to allocate. For industries, for agriculture, agriculture the same thing. If it is 1.4 billion people, how much food production that we need and how much land should be in agriculture. The rest of the things should be with the government for allocation for efficient use purposes. So I think it has to be supply controlled. On the one hand, Yogesh was talking about water and other provisioning which is supply driven, but land alone is demand driven.
Yeah, because you said it is a closed house. I also had one hypothesis. I don't know how true it is. Like you are also showing, or someone was showing it in their presentation, that if you see the sectoral division of Gujarat's economy, I think it was 50% industries, then another 25 or percentage of services, and remaining was agriculture. But if you see at India level picture or to other states, generally service is more than manufacturing, right? So I have always puzzled with this thing, that even though Gujarat has such a large manufacturing base with all small, micro, medium industries, but our service sector is not picking up. For example, if I am from Maharashtra, if you go to Pune, Mumbai, or even if you go to down south, Chennai, Bangalore, you have all these IT campuses. Right? There are IT colleges, but if a youngster wants to come to Gujarat, there are hardly any options in IT field, in service sector. You have some presence in, let's say, Ahmedabad and Gandhinagar. Beyond that, and in Ahmedabad and Gandhinagar also, if given a choice, an IT graduate won't come to Ahmedabad. He will go to Bangalore or Pune. So the point I am coming to is basically, does Gujarat lack that vibrant weekend life, night life, which basically promotes service sector to an extent? Because if a person from, let's say, Singapore or some other place wants to shift to gift city, he'll always look out for what will he do on Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays. I'm not talking just about prohibition part of it, but I'm also talking about other aspects. Do we have that thing lacking? And is that one of the reasons why people are not that forthcoming in, especially in service sector?
See, this question had been there for a very long time. Say, even when I first came to Gujarat in '88, so people used to ask, why are you going to Gujarat? That is not because this is not a welcoming state. Actually, it's a very welcoming state. The issue had been that anybody who wants to go out of metro cities earlier, they were not preferring. And very west or very east or northeast, it is everybody wants to be in Delhi, everybody wants to be Bangalore, developed much later, Hyderabad developed even later. So Kolkata, West Bengal, somehow we have this idea that we'll have to be in the large cities or metro cities. That's how the attraction took place. I don't think prohibition or evening life or that is a concern. And the other thing that we used to discuss was even the Narmada, when Narmada Dam came, Sadar Sarovar. One of the issues had been that Bombay is so close to you. Why are you really worried about developing this part of agriculture? And the rivers are there. So Maharashtra and Bombay being there always had been very close to Gujarat, either from Kutch or even from Ahmedabad. So probably because of these kind of, I mean, I'm sticking my neck out. It's not. If you ask me to prove it empirically, I can't prove it. But these are some of the reasons that have been cited and we talked about. But otherwise now, and industries really did not take place after the Golden Corridor. One of the reasons we used to talk earlier in the academia basically is that much of the dirty industries have come to Gujarat, the chemical industries in south, so which have been deterrent, but recently now if you see the changes have been many, like Kutch for example. Kutch has really expanded after the earthquake and the way in which we had the tax incentives and other things driven. So things are changing and people are not only going to Bangalore and other places which are getting saturated and quality of life is worse there. So I think it is a mix of factors going to very far and to be in the metro. Now people are dispersing, I think things are changing. I don't know whether I answered your question.
No, you answered my question. Thank you. Thank you. We'll take some questions now and then we can continue with the પેનલ ડિસ્કશન્સ વિથ ફર્ધર ક્વેશ્ચન્સ હે ને આપણામાંથી કોઈના કોઈ પ્રશ્નો હોય આપણા ત્રણેય પેનલિસ્ટને પૂછવા માટે તમે યુ કેન રેઝ યોર હેન્ડ यहाँ पे
Sir, my question to Jadeja sir as well as Katale sir, that we are doing shallow aquifer mapping. Now there is two type of aquifers. One is shallow and one is deeper. Deeper has a much higher cost, and so it becomes something prohibitive kind of thing for doing multiple places. Now we have an other provision of recharge well in GDCR. So our GDCR says that construction of carpet area above something from 1500 square meter should have recharge well. And I think most of the structure we are building in small towns like Mehsana also have that satisfy that criteria. So my point is that why we not put a line into the GDCR that the recharge well should be not be 70 foot, but it should meet the shallow aquifer level of the particular place. And we are already doing mapping for all the cities. So we will have, you know, maybe in 1 or 2 years, at least in the major cities, the well. So this is the intervention we require. If it can be done.
Yes, it can be done, because see, if you have the depth and thickness and layers of aquifer, then you have all the information. So only thing is that how this information should be converted into decision making. And the decision making process, if you see in the municipal corporation, you have governing body is there. The governing body is empowered to take this kind of the decisions. And if we have this scientific database, and if we can delineate this database and align with the administrative boundaries, and along with some rationals, like in case of Rajkot, we have given this, if you are going to recharge in this area, then you requires, once your recharge structure will influence in 150 meter radius. So that automatically a decision making area. So if you are having some area, you can say the X number of recharge structures is required over here, not more than that. And along with this, you can also say we have aquifer number 1 starting from 75 to 90 feet, aquifer number 2 starting from 230 to 280 feet, aquifer number 3 is this depth. So if you have large volume of water, you can target multiple aquifer with this particular, in one particular location. That's what in Mehsana I'm planning in this iconic road. We have 3-4 aquifer system is there. So within one area and huge water is coming there. So if you want to tackle this water load, so aquifer 1, aquifer 2, aquifer 3, we have to identify and we have to put our recharge structures, we have to connect our recharge structure from surface to that particular aquifer. And this, once we have this information, and this information we should fit in the ward boundary and then pass the resolution. I think in that way we can develop and see this kind of the things, like Rajkot had did. So now NIUA is with us. So we are not only the single city. There are 75 cities are there. So all 75 cities are doing this kind of the intervention, and this intervention are going to fit in the policy. So maybe in future, the Mahua can launch a policy for the groundwater recharge within the urban areas with some rationales and SOPs, etc.
So this was a wonderful question, and also Yogesh bhai, very rooted solution. I'm chipping in because as part of the Gujarat High Level Committee on Urban Planning, there are already thoughts on how to modify the CGDCR. Because by the time every small town has its aquifer map, what will we do till that point of time? Also, we had done a small study in Ahmedabad about these building level recharge wells. Some of them are not even 30 feet deep. And so we are also thinking of a very small, easy SOP to be monitored at the time of BU. That how do you ensure that it is as deep as it had to be? Also now they need to be relooked because many buildings are having double basements, 3 basements. They have this perception that if we do a recharge well next to it, it is going to put water pressure on our retaining walls. So to educate that, to take the developer side also along. So there are some thoughts on that. So this CGDCR will have to look at recharge structures at multiple levels, which is on the way, at building level, but also at neighborhood level, and in public parks, plazas, how do we recharge? Only then in some way we will do. And just a rejoinder to, what Partha sir was saying about the paver blocks. So there is a thought that depending on the width of the street, what should be the best way? What should be the best material? Now there is so much of innovation in the material, jointless pavers, highly spongy pavers. So there is a separate committee of the NBC, BIS. Bureau of Indian Standards is setting up a separate committee to look at what kind of material can be used in such places. So I think besides the recharge well, it will also have to be multiple scales of public spaces and multiple level of sponginess that we can give.
So my question is to all the panel members, including the professors and the administrators. So we often, as Partha sir mentioned in his presentation, we often see lakefronts being beautified after the water has been degenerated into drains. So what do we think, what policy reforms or governance frameworks can ensure that we preserve the ecosystem from the start and make it keep it functioning, and we don't need any cosmetic improvements after the water has been degenerated to drains?
See, Amisar is a gold example. You start.
Why only government ensure? Why can't users, community, and stakeholders should also ensure? No? See what happens nowadays. all these kind of the structure, no, like lakes and etc., are gradually moving from our culture. Hmm, Earlier, it was a life and life support system, like we were using lake water for various purposes. Today, we have swimming pools, so we are not going to lake for the swimming. So the usage of the lakes from community point of view or the stakeholder point of view is reduced, or I think it's completely stopped. And second thing happens because all the lake and water bodies are in the lowline areas. So it was carrying water from higher reaches to lower reaches. Along with the developments of cities, we have used the slopes to develop our infrastructures. Like many sewage lines are following the channels, river or stream channels, those drawing water to the lakes. Now we know many failure happens with this system, and this dirty water goes to the lake, and then the entire ecosystem gets changed. It's pollution, and then the weeds are coming, etc. So the beauty is gone now. So now what we are doing, we are beautifying the lakes. But along with, my suggestion is that along with the beautification, we should start using the water also. If we start using the water, then the system will be replenished, and then we start understanding the importance of this system. So that's the one thing. So it's not a single approach. No, only assurance from the government is not enough. Assurance from community also equally important to manage this. Like Pastor Sir mentioned about the Hamisar Lake. So Hamisar Lake is a identity of Bhuj city, but it's not only one lake. There are about 83 lake cascades was there. Along with development, around 40 lakes have been disappeared from the people's eyes. So now what happened, only 13 lakes were registered and rest of the lakes were not registered. The government, we pursue, and along with this pressure, community awareness, and then we register all the water body, give the identity as water body. So first we need to develop this identity of the water body. That can be the part of the government. But once they get identified as a water body, then community should start using this water body, and from the management point of view and for their life and their environment point of view, not only the picnic point.
Sir, I agree with you, but my concern is, जैसे कि आप बोले कि it's the community. I mean, it's about the public awareness. So we all know the settlement started because of the water body. If we look back to the history, if we have a settlement, then there must be a water body, because people now back then were dependent on the agriculture and the water bodies. Now people are getting water like water system at their home. That's why maybe they are unable to maintain the water body, or they are not dependent on the water body directly. That's why they are not aware. But as we know, unless until there is no like policy or framework, then people are not being like, they don't want to be aware. They are like, we are getting it at our home, then why would we?
Basically, they won't use it.
Yeah.
Because I am giving 24/7 tap water to people. They will need water for drinking, for washing clothes and other activities, right? If they are getting it in their homes, in their washrooms, bathrooms, so anyway they are not going to go to that lake and to use that water.
I agree. Lekin as a municipality or municipal corporation, we can use this water to supply and to tap. हम कहीं पे वो छूट रहा है. हाँ, जैसे मान लो सिस्टम फेल हो गया, अब मान लो जैसे मैं आपको एग्जांपल दूँ, 2 साल पहले हमारे भुज से जस्ट बाहर एक नर्मदा पाइपलाइन टूट गया. तो भुज में पूरा मतलब एक दिन अगर पाइपलाइन टूटता है ना, तो हमारे पास 12 दिन का शॉर्टफॉल होता है. तो 2 दिन टूटा था तो 24 दिन हमको पानी नहीं मिला. उस टाइम पे हमारे पास कोई प्लान भी नहीं था. कैन वी यूज दिस kind of the infrastructure, what local resources for managing this failure? मैं नहीं बोल रहा हूँ कि सीधा लोग वहाँ जाके पानी पिए, लेकिन एक सिस्टम है अभी, तो उस सिस्टम अगर उसको रिकॉग्नाइज करना शुरू करेंगे तो अपने आप इसका इम्पोर्टेंस होना शुरू हो जाएगा.
So actually, the whole question came from the one point that I'm an outsider, like I'm staying in Mehsana. So when I saw the Khari River passing through the town, I was very fascinated. I thought, yeah, there must be so many developments and everything. But then when I saw the Khari River, it's a drain. Like people, locals are referring to as drain. So my point is, even if we plan to redevelop it and do some cosmetic projects, we can like are we like will we be able to preserve its main the history or the significance of it? Like even if we develop it, we'll just clean the water and maybe we'll develop some pavers and beautification. But my whole point is that in the history when the towns were developed around the water bodies, so will we be able to preserve that? And of course, I would like to know the answers from Vaghela sir as well as Commissioner sir. How can we, like, what role?
Okay, so sir has requested that so I'll share some views and so there are the issue of you are saying why do we wait till the water body becomes a drain and then we regenerate it? That's where your question started. So if I look at it very systematically, then one level at which you can avoid this is identify it as a water body, give it its identity on the map also, which you are using for planning. So I'm talking at the planning stage. And if it is mapped, it has a buffer around, at least that much will get conserved, it will be there. But the bigger problem comes later when it is there, then comes the problem of operations and maintenance. If we look at lakes or streams, Enu Dhani Kon is in Gujarati, if I put one line. Who takes the ownership of that water channel, a lake or this? So if there is a park on the edge of water body, Park Vibhag will do plantation there. If there is a stream that is going and the wastewater treated also, if it is discharged into it, it will be the drainage department that will look at it. If the pre-monsoon desilting or waste collection drive has to be done along it, solid waste management department will look at it. So when it comes to operational level, there is no budget with the stormwater department. Many ULBs don't even have stormwater department. So this comes from solid waste, drainage, park vibhag, all of that. So that is an operational issue when it starts becoming what it becomes. And how do we address that? So the idea is not to give a solution here, but my idea was to bring to forefront the kind of operational challenges that one faces and the planning challenges one faces, and it needs approach from both the sides. When you said beautification, you know, off late, and this is my last point, off late our idea of waterfronts has become beautification. And so the form is becoming more important than the function. That कैसा फॉर्म होना चाहिए मेरे वाटर बॉडी का, ऐसा दिखना चाहिए, और बट उसका फंक्शन, उसके अंदर और स्ट्रीम्स कहीं से पानी ला रही हैं, लेक है तो उसकी कैचमेंट से पानी आ रहा है, नदी है तो उसके साथ भी कुछ स्ट्रीम्स मिल रही हैं, वो पूरे फॉर्म को हम, पूरे फंक्शन को हम रिवाइव करें और फिर उसके फॉर्म पे भी ध्यान दें. दोज काइंड ऑफ SOPs फॉर इवन डिज़ाइनिंग द वाटर फ्रंट्स. So these are my thoughts, but I think they are the administrators who are giving real solutions and probably.
Yeah, I think, see, this has two parts. The first one is, when we are talking about water body, it's a classic case of tragedy of commons. Okay? So I think he will take care, he thinks he will take care, and everybody, in the end, nobody takes care. But who really uses it? If you see it, there are, with GPCB and other things, not only here, the PCBs in general, there are very strict rules that you cannot discharge anything in the water body. But even the municipal corporation and the industrial estates, all of them use that as a sink. If you see Sabarmati River, if you see in Tamil Nadu, if you see in Karnataka, in Bangalore, everywhere it is clearly visible, and there's a paper of mine on Sabarmati where the moment it crosses Vasna Barrage, are you aware of the city topography? The moment it crosses Vasna Barrage, the dissolved oxygen is zero. which means not even fish can survive. Nothing can survive in that. It is not even of bathable quantity. So why did we do it? It becomes a poison actually. The industrial estates are throwing everything. The city corporations also throw. So usually, historically, if you see, one part is to romanticize the river body, saying that that is where the civilization started. But actually, we have used for a very, very long time across all cities and even rural areas, the water bodies have been used as a sink. So therefore, if you start cleaning it up, if you wanted to clean it, who will do it and for what? Unless we answer the question for what I want to clean it, there is no money in that. Because it doesn't pay back. It doesn't pay back at all. Supposing I make a riverfront of the river, Khari river that you're talking, how will it pay back itself? And we don't have endless money in that. The last point I want to make is, even if you take the Narmada, when I was working on that book, we had 3 volumes of book on Narmada. If you see the usage of it, for a very long time we couldn't really quantify the area it has irrigated. We put a ballpark figure of 5 million hectares that it has irrigated. But then even if you take the satellite picture, the problem is up until Anand, you have even groundwater. So we couldn't separate on the land whether it is Narmada or groundwater or from some other river. So actually we find it very difficult to segregate the water, which water it is, and therefore to assign rights. Okay, so that is where the last point is I want to tell the aquifer. There is a lot of work that has been done on the aquifer, but then please remember aquifer is a dynamic stuff. It is not static. Today if I do an aquifer mapping, next year if I go, it may not be there. So I think it is a continuous process. We think that water is there and we'll have to manage it. It is the other way around. So I have not answered the question because the rights assigning is very difficult, not only here, even in other countries. So unless we clarify that role, that you can't use it as a sink, automatically it is taken care of.
Great. I like to, my question was basically supposed to be on the same topic. As ma'am touched this part, that let's say cities in Gujarat, we are having maximum rain duration of 25 days or maybe 30 days at some places, right? So whatever water that is coming to our cities, because let's say if you go to North Gujarat, we don't have so many of those perennial rivers. So whatever water is coming to our cities, and earlier, like you all mentioned, we used to have a network of lakes where the water will get accumulated as surface water, then there will also be a groundwater recharge. But now in, let's say in a city like Mehsana, you are getting rains only for 25 days. And if we are thinking of reviving the old lake networks, maybe through planning, making them a part of developmental plans, then what are the methodologies? Like maybe there were some ancient techniques, or there are some new technologies. These days we are hearing a lot about lake interlinking as a mechanism. But when I think of lake interlinking in Mehsana, the first question comes to my mind is, where will I get water? I'm not going to get Narmada water to fill those lakes. Then the second, maybe the thought comes that maybe we are having our STPs. The treated wastewater can be made tertiarily, we can treat it with tertiary treatment, and then we can fill these lakes. So I just want to know your thoughts on this, because as Mehsana has transitioned from a municipality to a municipal corporation, we have got all these nearby 20 villages which are having lots of lakes and water bodies. So if we start now, what are the methods and technologies available with? And along with that, I'll add that with the revival of Khari river, we are thinking of rejuvenation of Khari river. We are thought of अभी जो जितना भी ड्रेन उसके अंदर जा रहा है, maybe जब हमारा STPs का नेटवर्क अच्छा बनेगा UGD का, we'll be able to bypass most of it. Then we are also thinking of putting some micro STPs at those points जहाँ पे हम उसको drain कर रहे हैं. and some other technologies. Maybe even if we just develop the natural front of it and we revive a little bit of river, then we can think of doing other activities. Maybe we can make a jogging track around, let's say 1 kilometer, 500 meters and other things. So I want your all of your answers on these things. Maybe what we can do with lake interlinking. Where can we get that water? Can STP water be used for that? And also how we conserve more of our rainwater for all these activities.
So, so first of all, sir, we may not want to interlink all the lakes also compulsively. So maybe even if we identify there is a depression and that depression has a very small catchment, and maybe those channels are kept open, and we need not have it as a lake also, we can have it as a swale. Swale means it has water when it has, otherwise there is wild vegetation growing in it. But we are conserving it, we are not letting it get built up. The problem is when it is a swale, and sir, even in our GTPUDA Act actually, it is defined as swamps, ane kharabo, wasteland. The moment it will get classified as wasteland, it will get built up because it is not good for any other purpose. So let's build it. It will not serve. So I think lake, I would say not even lake, even if there is a depression, which is part of the natural topography, it can be conserved as swale with the local vegetation, as sir was saying, with the local native vegetation which will survive even when there is no water. So that's one part to it. Other is interlinking, which is also possible when there is a strong case of interlinked catchments. Like Dr. Jadeja has a lot of work in Bhuj where there is a cascade of lakes and there is a natural way they were linked. Those links are disrupted and we are just reviving those links. And third point, sir, and we can have a detailed discussion on this later, but the third very short point is filling up water bodies with treated wastewater has been tried a couple of places. Even when Ahmedabad did its 11 lakes interlinking, Vastrapur Lake was receiving storm water and treated wastewater, and there was supposed to be a 1 MLD plant which will treat wastewater and put it in it. The issue you would know much more than us is about operation maintenance of these STPs. And if this water goes untreated into these lakes, that's the problem. So I think a combination of swales, lakes, depressions, and Ahmedabad in its DP 2041 is approaching it very well. So maybe a separate presentation with the CEA of ODA may be helpful because they are treating it exactly like this. Some are swales, some are lakes, some are interlinked lakes. So this is my thought on this.
See, you mentioned about the low rainfall. See, earlier our planning philosophy was based on the how much lowest rainwater input we are receiving from the nature, like as you mentioned in Bhuj now. So, if you analyze the rainfall data of Bhuj city since 150 years, we are assured about the 8.5 inch of rainfall. So all our planning was based on 8.5 inches. So that assures annual requirement. So accordingly what the earlier planner have did, they divide and divert the catchments and link with water body that is nearby to city. And therefore they construct a buffer reservoir in such location where you can have low evaporation losses and depth of the water body was more. And when it approached to city was having a shallow aquifer, so small water bodies was there. So whenever those water body filled with the rainwater and recharge the aquifer and get empty, so they carry water from the buffer reservoir, again they recharge the aquifer. So in that way the surface and groundwater, the hydrological assessment based on the rainfall and based on the ground characteristic, this combination of these two can help lot in this kind of the sustainability.
Yeah. See, there is a very good case that has been done by Tushar Bose from SET on the lake interlinking, especially taking the Vastrapur case. Now, one of the things that we found, I was also advising that, and Later on, we presented it even in Labasna. One of the things that we found is that the moment you do this interlinking of lakes, what we are ending up as is a balancing reservoir. Then it is getting equally distributed, and with rainfall being what it is and a number of rainy days being spread out, either all lakes dry up or all lakes have some amount of water. And therefore, the ingenious solution that we had was to pave some of the lakes, including Vastrapur. And that was a disaster. Because the purpose was lost. It was not a percolation tank. It's just like a bowl. Yeah, it is. So it was becoming dirty. One of the things that we could try and do is that instead of interlinking, in situ development of lakes for the purpose and for the area that it is useful for would be best used. And when doing it, one thing which we also found is in doing the lakes, we concentrate on the lakes, but we forget the drainage. If the drainage pattern is not taken care of, unnecessary obstruction, constructions are not avoided, then flooding is what the result is. In almost all the lakes that we have developed, if you see in the neighborhood, the impact has been flooding. So one of the things that we brought out in the case, in fact 2 points, is please take care of the drainage, at least near the lakes, and lakes in situ development might be much better alternative than doing this interlinking, which is very expensive.
Thank you. And maybe earlier the earlier urban planner, they had this liberty that land was available with them. There was no such price on land. Now land has become a commodity, so it's very difficult to maintain those channels. Right. So we'll take some more questions and then we can wrap it up, maybe with another question from here itself.
मेरा क्वेश्चन जाडेजा सर से है। सर हमारे पास टोटल 53 ट्यूब वेल्स है, प्रोडक्शन वेल। तो सर हम प्रोडक्शन वेल को एज ए प्रोडक्शन वेल और एज ए रिचार्ज वेल हम यूज़ कर सकते हैं उसको, और कर सकते हैं तो किस मेथोडोलॉजी से कर सकते हैं कि जैसे हम मिनिमम कॉस्ट पे हम रिचार्ज ज़्यादा कर सकें।
रिचार्ज करने के लिए तो पानी की ज़रूरत है, तो वो तो हमारे पास बरसात से आ रहा है, बट किस एरिया से बहते हुए पानी आ रहा है उसके हिसाब से हमें उसका फिल्ट्रेशन सिस्टम डिज़ाइन करना चाहिए। लेकिन मेरा ये मानना है कि जो रनिंग बोरवेल है उसमें हम डायरेक्टली रिचार्ज न डालते हुए, अगर हमें जिस एक्यूफर से आ रहा है एक्यूफर का जोन ऑफ इन्फ्लुएंस पता चल जाए ना, तो उस जोन ऑफ इन्फ्लुएंस में एक नया रिचार्ज बोरवेल बना देना चाहिए। इट विल सस्टेन, क्योंकि ग्राउंड वाटर में क्या होता है कि आप पानी निकालोगे तो दूसरी जगह से पानी आएगा, तो उसका जोन ऑफ इन्फ्लुएंस लेवल पे जाके एक रिचार्ज स्ट्रक्चर बनाना उचित है। और अगर डिफंक्ट हो गए हैं जिसमें कोई पंपिंग नहीं है तो उसी वेल्स को इस्तेमाल करते हुए हम रिचार्ज में ले लें। तो जो एक्वाफर मैपिंग के तहत हम एक वो चीज़ भी डिटरमाइन करेंगे कि उसकी हाइड्रोलिक प्रॉपर्टी ये है, तो आप कितनी डिस्टेंस पे आप रिचार्ज स्ट्रक्चर बनाएंगे, किस तरीके से बनाएंगे, तो ये इसका यील्ड सस्टेन करें। अल्टीमेट आइडिया हमारा ये है कि जो प्रोडक्शन वेल है उसमें से यील्ड सस्टेन होना चाहिए। डिप्लीट होता है तो फिर हम नीचे नीचे जाके दूसरा बना लेते हैं या फिर उसको डिफंक्ट डिक्लेयर कर देते हैं। तो इस सिस्टम से हमें करना चाहिए। दूसरा क्या होता है कि कभी जो प्रोडक्शन वेल जो है उसमें पानी थोड़ा अगर मान लो कि फिजिकल सस्पेंडेड पार्टिकल के साथ अगर चला जाता है तो नीचे की मशीनरी को जैम कर देता है, तो मशीनरी डैमेज हो जाती है। तो इसीलिए थोड़ा अगर प्रावधान है हमारे पास में तो हम दूसरा स्ट्रक्चर बनाएं, या तो अच्छा सा फिल्ट्रेशन सिस्टम डिज़ाइन करें ताकि उसमें जो पानी जाने वाला है उसमें कोई ऐसे सस्पेंडेड पार्टिकल्स या पोल्यूटेंट वाटर नहीं जाए।
Maybe we'll have last couple of questions. My question is to Professor Partha Sarthi sir. As we are talking about regional growth hubs, if developmental hubs, So, what do you see in Mehsana as a potential? Let's say geographically it is around 50 kilometers from Ahmedabad towards North Gujarat. It is basically the gateway of North Gujarat. As we have seen, it has this vast Dudh dairy network. We also have ONGC and some local GIDCs. So, if you are urban planner here, so what are the things that you will focus on? Because it has both characters. Agriculture is also there, then dairy is there, and to an extent we have oil exploration and other activities. And Becharaji Mandal is a little away from here, so people generally stay here and they travel to those places because Mehsana offers better living conditions. So what are those things which we can tap on and we can plan for the future?
The 3 or 4 points. The first one is when the government of Gujarat wanted to have the Sardar Sarovar canals being self-managed rather than being managed by the government. The farmer associations were not very willing to do it because it involved a lot of money. So we tried to find out what other alternatives could be. The APMC in Mehsana is actually it's very well endowed, and it seemed to be one of the places where it could be utilizing the money. There are 2 reasons for it. One is, being a cooperative, they can't distribute the profits completely. There's a cap for dividend for 12%. But the way in which they can utilize for many aspects, I think AMC could be a good source for not like a public-private partnership, but for different purpose. Where the uses could be. The first use is the dairy is a big industry, and we also had alfalfa areas in this. It was questioned that in Mehsana, why do you grow alfalfa? Because the groundwater scenario being very different, and alfalfa is a very water-consuming crop. How do you do it? So one of the things that APMC at that point of time had an answer was, if they can invest in drip irrigation or other types of irrigation, they were willing to take the costs and try to do it. I think Mehsana can be a great example for doing a very sustainable irrigated cropping pattern here, which will sustain the dairy industry. That is very, very essential. In the earlier days, the third point is, in the earlier days when we were doing some planning here, in fact, we held a workshop for the dairy industry in that Hotel Safrani. One of the issues that came up was that Mehsana being a water scarce area, still you have a water park here. So how do you really make do with these contradictions? So how are we going to go forward in this? So one of the considered opinion was that for water conservation, I think Mehsana can be one of the outstanding examples, which we are already doing. I think it will be very useful. And the last point is that this is one of the hubs for the conduit between South Gujarat and Delhi. Okay, so the railway line and the freight corridor could be one of the very useful point for, because Ahmedabad is saturated for freight. I think Mehsana is the nearest for many of the towns, not only from on the side of Kutch, but also from Ahmedabad. So these are 4 things which I thought could be very useful in developing both on agriculture and non-agricultural front.
So, sir has covered a very comprehensive, substantive part. I go back to my city development plan days, CDPs, which were more of strategic plans and not just a spatial plan. And that time, the priority for Mehsana was underground sewage, which is now probably done. But I feel, as it has had water scarcity always, and also limited public places to go, and there is so much of affluence in the society itself already. So if there are good public places which are around the blue and the green. And therefore I'm just going back and harping on only one point. If we make a plan of Mehsana next DP, and if we consider all the peripheral villages, transitional areas, all of them, map them and conserve our blue and green areas, we will have nature-based parks rather than having, as sir said, how can we imagine a water guzzling entity sitting next door? I think that could be one of the priorities along with aquifer recharge. Also good blue and green, and it can make a statement that being in water scarce area, we are very water sensitive, both in our plan and practice. So that's what I would think.
सर ने एक बात कही कि अल्फा अल्फा ग्रो करने की. Dairy has very good network of the cooperatives and many households are directly associated with them. What we did in Kutch to replace the alpha alpha, we started demonstrating the water efficient crop, fodder crop. So alpha alpha along with drip also water requirement is high. So drip is increasing the water use efficiency, but not the water requirement of the particular crop. So we introduced 2-3 fodder crop which are having, those crops were having the water requirement 1/10 of the alpha alpha. So automatically the demand side management has arrested the groundwater depletion there. So this kind of the intervention we can plan with the dairy, and they have very good institutional structure. So if the management can take the decision like nowadays the Banas, if you see the Banas dairy, they started with their cooperative, the Banas Jal Shakti Abhiyan. So they are reviving the lakes in the almost all the villages, or 95% villages have the dairy cooperatives. So all the cooperatives are taking lead and they are reviving. So this kind of the movement, if we can pursue with the dairy management or dairy institution, this is a very good opportunity, and we can showcase a very good demand side management intervention with them.
So we'll take one last question if we have any questions. We are already 10 minutes behind our schedule. Professor, sir, you have also worked in Labasna, so I have one memory of GIDR and Labasna together. When I was doing my thesis for our phase 2 of training, so my guide was Professor Lalita from GIDR. I think, I don't know her other credentials. She was my guide, and yeah, okay. Okay, yeah. So she was my guide, and I had met her there at GIDR and at 3-4 more places. Sanjay Prasad sir had suggested ma'am's name. So my thesis topic was basically on BT cotton, why it helped revive the economy in Saurashtra, in Gujarat, and why it did not do so well in Vidarbha, though basically both of them were water-starved areas. And we still hear of suicides, farmer suicide in Vidarbha, and the technology was similar. So what were the other interventions that basically helped us or helped Gujarat achieve it, and why Maharashtra lagged? So that was my thesis point, and I had read those books as well. I think you must have been one of the co-author of those books. Okay. Yeah. So that was just a memory which came to my mind.
I'll definitely tell her.
Yeah. I'm too. Okay. And I did not know that. Thank you.
That's okay. Yeah, we did a lot of work on it.
Interventions were like, as you said,
So in this Mehsana region, because there is lot of fodder demand, so can't we introduce some agro silvi pasture type of farming and encourage farmers to plant this type of crops? જે આપણે સેડાપાડા ઉપર જે જમીન હોય એનાથી પાણીની કપાત પણ ઓછી થાય, એટલે soil erosion બી ઓછું થાય, as well as it can also increase the moisture level. So I think the Center for Environment Education can do a lot of things in this sector. Thank you. Sure.
Sorry, but I have a question in continuation to that. whatever we experienced and achieved in the Kutch region, how can we best share that with Mehsana? Can there be a synergy where we bring in, that knowledge and experience here? Thank you. You doing that?
Yeah, it is in the process. Mehsana, not resettlement is not required. Mehsana is just 6 hours from Bhuj, no?
Do aquifer tunnel.
Yeah, that's what the experiences of the Kutch we are already trying to bring over here. And in urban area, already in rural areas, we have worked with lots of organizations. We are engaged in the capacity building of many organizations. And we are building their capacities, how to do water management in this kind of the scarce water region and how bring water level up in this region.
Already signed an MOU with them for shallow aquifer mapping and the other related activities. Yeah, thank you. So I think we can conclude this panel discussion. I'll thank all the three esteemed speakers for their enlightening thoughts on different aspects of regional growth, urban planning, at the same time water sensitive urban planning. So I thank you once again. Now we'll conclude this panel discussion and
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. I am going, sitting there. I am going to call on stage Honorable J.N. Wagila, sir. Please come forward on the stage. Now, request Honorable Commissioner, sir, Mehsana Municipal Corporation, please felicitate Dr. Parth Sarthi, sir, with the memento. बहुत तालियों के साथ उनका अभिवादन करते हैं. Now request Honorable J.N. Wagila, sir, please felicitate Dr. Yogesh Jadeja, sir, with the memento. I also request Honorable Ravindra, sir, Honorable Commissioner. I also Mona Iyer, Dr. and Professor, Safety University, with the memento. Thank you so much once again. And now time to a vote of thanks and concluding remarks. I will request Honorable J.N. Wagila, sir, Commissioner GMC, please.
Hey friends, really today is one of the best local level and regional level conference that we had, and it was very interactive, fruitful, and there are many take-homes for all of us. At the outset of that my valedictory session, I thank you, Dr. Ravindra Khatale sir, not doctor but Ravindra Khatale sir, is my close friend, for his one of the best skill and organizing capacity. He handled very effectively, and it matched with the expectation from the Urban Development Department. And meanwhile, I also thank Dr. Mona Iyer madam, Dr. Parth Sarthi sir, and Dr. Yogesh Jadeja sir, and of course, last but not least, my colleagues and their officers from the Urban Development Department and stakeholders of that program. I am very much thankful, and I am again look forward your wonderful cooperation and participation in any organized workshop or seminar being held by the Urban Development Department. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you so much, sir, for his concluding remarks, and thank you so much. आज के इस हॉल नंबर 5 का वाइब्रेंट गुजरात रीजनल कॉन्फ्रेंस का समापन करते हैं. Thank you so much once again. Thank you. Thank you.
On behalf of my panelists and my own behalf, I sincerely thank both the municipal commissioners and the staff. And what has been really admirable is the whole session has been made interactive. It's not just a talk. So we really learned a lot. This learning is always mutual. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. And